Chapter 1597. Vaguely, Tianyun could see a head floating in the evil spirit's pearl. The appraisal eye also displayed the information in front of him. Evil spirit's pearl. The head of the evil spirits is sealed in it. It has the most terrifying power of the evil spirit. Sealing it requires a lot of power. When used at the same time, it has the terrifying power of the evil spirits, which is enough to destroy everything. The corrosive effect is far greater than the other parts of the evil spirit. As expected, the head of the evil spirits is sealed here. Otherwise, there would not be such a heaven-defying god seal here in the god realm of the three realms. When all kinds of seals are stacked together, the power of the evil spirit's pearl can be sealed. However, if the person possessed by the evil god's pearl was really the leader of the divine spirit clan, wouldn't that be a little too miserable? With such a powerful god's seal, it can't even seal a head. Does it need to be sealed with its own body? However, when he looked carefully, he found that the floating corpse is indeed from the divine spirit clan, but it doesn't seem to be the leader. Elder of the divine spirit clan, the power of the evil spirits is sealed in its body. It still has its own consciousness, but it is already in a blurry state. Its cultivation is at the early stage of the medium god realm. So it's an elder of the divine spirit clan. Tianyun breathed a sigh of relief. But if it's an elder of the divine spirit clan who sealed it, then what about the leader of the divine spirit clan? Maybe he will know the truth after passing this test. Then, he lifted his foot and walked forward. As soon as he stepped into the formation, the floating corpse suddenly moved. It slowly raised its head and looked over. One of its eyes was white and the other was black. This phenomenon means that the power of the evil spirits has already corroded its head. Someone finally came. The dry voice sounded like scraping against the wall. It was very ear-piercing and uncomfortable. "Ha, someone finally came. Can I, the evil spirits, absorb some blood? Or do you want to seal me again? It's been too long since I've had fresh blood for me to absorb. I've been absorbing this body for so long, but there's no smell at all." The mummy suddenly laughed loudly. Its twisted face looked completely different from before. Whether it was his voice or his tone, they were on two different levels. One was dry and weak, like a lamp that had run out of oil. The other was full of energy and evil. "The evil spirits have already corrupted me to this extent." Tianyun sucked in a breath of cold air. It seemed that possessing the evil spirit's orb came with such a powerful side effect. The evil spirits were too strong. They were cultivators that were infinitely close to becoming god emperors. Not only were they hard to kill, even if they were dismembered, they wouldn't die. Kill me, seal the orb of evil spirits." Soon, another voice sounded, telling Tianyun to kill him. "Ha, come and kill me if you can. You're just a middle-level heavenly master. I don't know how you came in, but you're pretty good to come in and give me your blood. After a while, when I have completely taken over this body, I will be able to rush out." The evil spirits laughed again, looking at Tianyun with disdain. This elder of the divine spirit tribe was at least an intermediate heavenly god. Now that he had the power of the evil god, it would not be easy to kill him. "Rush out? I think with your ability you can't do it." Tianyun sneered and said, "If it was so easy to rush out, you would have already rushed out." He tightly held the 5-dragon divine spear in his hand, ready to fight. This was the last trial. Kill the elder of the divine spirit race, and become the guardian of the evil god's orb. He will also become like this, letting the evil spirit's orb enter his body, and then his blood essence will be extracted bit by bit. This process is very slow, unless he uses the evil spirit's orb, otherwise it will be very slow. But no matter how slow it is, his blood essence will be extracted bit by bit. No matter which guardian it is, the final outcome will be the same. Unless he moves out in advance, he can live for a while longer, but it will be very difficult to replenish his blood essence. He hasn't even fought yet, he already has to make a choice, either die or become a guardian. However, the evil spirits in front of him will not allow Lee Tianyun to become a guardian. If he becomes a guardian, he will continue to be trapped for a very long time. How can he control the Divine Spirit Clan Elder's body like now? Especially now, he wants to kill Lee Tianyun to absorb more blood essence to fill his own needs. The more blood he absorbs, the more power he can recover. But how to absorb? He only has one head, his power can't be that strong. Brat, you're quite arrogant. Even if I can't get out, at least I can still kill you. The evil spirits shouted, controlling the Divine Spirit Clan Elder's body to attack. His power quickly increased, from the original intermediate Heavenly God level to the intermediate Heavenly God level. Obviously, the evil spirit's own power has been poured in. Only in this way can he better control this body. Lee Tianyun's expression was indifferent as he looked at the evil god that was rushing towards him. No wonder it was said that he had a 50-50 chance of winning this round. If the Divine Spirit Clan's Elder's soul power had the upper hand, then he could easily win this round. On the other hand, if the evil spirits have the upper hand, then he will face the 50% chance of failure. Now it is the other 50% chance. The evil spirits have already controlled the body and increased their power. Combined with Lee Tianyun's previous level, this is really the success rate. However, that was then and this was now. Now that his cultivation had increased, he could even fight against a middle-level celestial god. 5 dragons roar. 5 dragons bracer. Dragon and Phoenix divine meridians, open. He went all out. He was so much stronger than him, especially when facing an evil god. If he didn't use it, then he would be a fool. He is not a fool, and he will not underestimate his enemy. He has always adhered to one principle, and that is, a lion will use all its strength to fight a rabbit. Boom! The violent attack blasted, accompanied by a terrifying loud sound, and both of them were sent flying. The Divine Spirit Clan Elder's withered body was sent flying even further, and finally hit the protective shield, making a bang sound and bouncing back. Poochie, the Divine Spirit Clan Elder spat out a mouthful of blood, but it was just a little bit. His body was almost drained, and there was no blood left. Lee Tianyun's situation is not bad. His body was slightly shaken, and he suffered some internal injuries, but he will be fine after a little recovery. In the first exchange, Lee Tianyun has a slight advantage. Chapter 1598. The evil spirits couldn't gain any advantage, and neither could Lee Tianyun. The two were tied. However, the evil spirits were definitely at a disadvantage. The evil spirits couldn't absorb spiritual energy like Lee Tianyun could, so they were completely sealed. The only thing they could absorb was the body of the Divine Spirit Tribe Elder. However, as time passed, the Divine Spirit Tribe Elder would be sucked dry. Therefore, as the attacks continued, the consumption would only increase. Eventually, the evil spirits wouldn't be able to fight back. They could either kill the Divine Spirit Tribe Elder directly or stall for time. Both were very good ways to win. Especially the latter. Even if they couldn't beat the Divine Spirit Tribe Elder, they could still stall for time. Especially if the evil spirit's power was reduced. Once the Divine Spirit Tribe Elder's consciousness gained the upper hand, everything would be settled. As expected of the power of the evil spirit. It's really evil. Lee Tianyun saw that the 5-dragon divine spear in his hand had been contaminated with pitch-black energy, and it was spreading to the spear shaft. However, when he shook it, the evil energy quickly disappeared. If he was attacked many times in a row, the evil energy would really invade his body. No wonder you could come in. It seems like you have some ability to become a guardian. But how can you be so strong as a middle heavenly venerate? The evil spirit's pitch-black eyes stared at the Divine Spirit Tribe Elder's body and licked his lips. But this is more in line with my wishes. If it was too weak, there wouldn't be any challenge, and there wouldn't be any feeling when absorbing it. The next moment, the evil spirits straightened his body, and the evil spirit's pearl on his chest suddenly released pitch-black energy that covered his entire body. A moment later, the Divine Spirit Tribe Elder's shriveled body quickly filled up, and he became extremely strong in the blink of an eye. The originally shriveled old man had turned into a sturdy young man in the blink of an eye. His aura and mental state were much stronger than before. This was the power that the evil spirits had absorbed back into the Divine Spirit Clan Elder's body, allowing the Divine Spirit Clan Elder's body to return to its peak state. Only in this way would he be able to unleash even greater power. Soon, a perfect body appeared in front of him. The level of power suddenly rose to the level of an upper heavenly god. The pressure instantly enveloped him, making Tianyun feel even more pressure. Sure enough, he still had to face such a terrifying level. It would be difficult for him to win against the evil spirits of an upper heavenly god. There was already a huge disparity between their cultivations, making it even more difficult for them to fight. However, this was within his expectations. He was facing an evil spirits, not an ordinary cultivator. Now let's have some fun. The evil spirits licked their lips and walked towards Tianyun. Every step they took left a deep black mark on the ground. Tianyun could feel that this was only a small part of the evil spirit's power. Even after its power was sealed, it still had such terrifying power. What if it was a complete evil spirits? Thinking about it, it was terrifying. Come on. Tianyun held the 5-dragon divine spear tightly. He was already prepared to fight to the death. He would slowly consume the power of the evil spirits, and he would be able to win. Just as he was about to fight, the evil spirits suddenly froze. They wanted to continue walking towards him, but they froze on the spot. You bastard, you are not dead yet. If you are not dead, how can I die? Give me back my body. The Divine Spirit Clan Elder suddenly shouted. He raised his palm and aimed it at his chest, trying to pierce through himself. The moment he was about to stab, his body moved slightly to the side. The palm that had turned into a sharp sword slashed at himself, cutting off his arm. Poochie, blood spurted out and dyed the ground black. It seemed like even the blood in his body had turned black. Bastard, you are wasting the energy I have stored. This is my body. I can do whatever I want. The two soul consciousnesses were fighting to see who would gain the upper hand. Swoosh. A cold light flashed from the side and instantly hit the Divine Spirit Clan Elder's body, piercing through him. The Divine Spirit Clan Elder turned his head and found that a long spear had pierced through him. Tianyun was standing next to him. The violent spear thrust into his own chest without the slightest bit of hesitation. Young friend, thank you. The Elder of the Divine Spirit Clan smiled, as if he had been relieved of his burden. Damn it. Kid, are you crazy? The evil spirits once again took over his body. He reached out and grabbed the 5-dragon divine spear, pulling it out. Then, he quickly retreated. At the same time, the big hole in his chest was quickly healed. The evil spirit's pearl was constantly emitting energy to repair it. However, as the heretical god's pearl was repaired, the light emitted by the heretical god's pearl grew dimmer. This was the effect of excessive consumption. However, if he did not consume it, he would not even have a chance to fight back. Swoosh, swoosh. The reply was not Tianyun's voice, but the 5-dragon divine spear. He wanted to kill the evil spirit. The Divine Spirit Clan Elder knew that the longer he delayed, the more dangerous it would be. Therefore, he wanted to kill the evil spirits as quickly as possible. The evil spirits quickly dodged. However, he was not in a good situation with a broken arm. Especially after being stabbed by the spear, it was extremely injured. His overall strength had decreased greatly. He had originally been promoted to the upper celestial god level, but now he had fallen to the intermediate celestial god level. He was not much different from before. In fact, he was even weaker. You are just an ant. How dare you resist? After dodging several times, the evil spirits flew into a rage. Even if I have to exhaust all my strength, I will destroy you." The evil spirits roared. The evil spirit's pearl in his chest completely erupted with all its energy. The terrifying power of the evil spirits surged out and enveloped his body. Soon, the injuries on his body healed. His body was restored to its peak state. His combat power had actually reached the upper celestial god level. It seemed that he had really released all his energy in order to kill Tianyun. Tianyun was undoubtedly challenging his dignity. Therefore, even if he had to risk everything, he had to kill him. Is that so? Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Tianyun's eyes were burning. Even if he had to risk everything, he had to kill this evil spirit. This time, no matter what, he had to pass the trial. After all, he still had a lot of things to do. Especially the alliance. The evil spirit's pearl must be obtained. He absolutely could not let it go. Boom! Tianyun erupted with all his strength, exerting it to the limit. He even activated the power of blood essence ignition. "Do you want to start blood essence ignition?" the system reminded. Chapter 1599. Ding. Starting to burn the power of blood essence, overall strength increased by 30 times. Power of blood essence consumed by 1%. Tianyun usually did not burn the power of his blood essence. After all, it was not easy to recover. Unless he had no other choice, he would not burn the power of blood essence. In the past, the effects of the blood jade stones and the like were really negligible, basically negligible. He could still play like this in the past, but now he did not dare to do so casually. There were no similar recovery stones, and he did not get any lucky draws. He had accumulated a lot of lucky draws now, but he did not have any lucky draws. The things he got were basically useless. They were either bloodline duplicates or some ordinary experience cards. It was very difficult to get anything good. Unless he leveled up completely, it was still relatively difficult to get something new. Now he had no choice but to use it. Otherwise, he would not be able to deal with the evil spirits and would only be crushed. He did not hope to kill the evil spirits in a second. With his current strength, it would be very good if he could fight to a draw. As long as he could stall for time, he would be the winner. Boom. After using the power of blood essence, his combat power rose rapidly. Even if he faced an upper celestial god, he would be able to contend. It was impossible to defeat him, especially when the opponent was the evil spirit. "Die, you ants and vermin that live here!" A long black whip appeared in the hands of the evil spirits, and he lashed it heavily. This was a weapon formed by the power of the evil spirits. He did not have any weapons, so he could only use the power of the evil spirits to attack. If he had the heavenly god's spiritual treasure, then Tianyun would have died many times. 5 dragons roar. Tianyun's eyes were firm. He attacked fearlessly, and the two quickly bombarded each other. Boom! Tianyun flew backward. A layer of shield quickly appeared on his body, and the power of the attack was mostly offset. Overall, it was not a big deal. However, on the side of the evil spirits, under the bombardment, the power of the evil spirits became dim. He was not injured, but he consumed a lot of energy. He could not kill Tianyun. It can become even stronger. The evil spirits were shocked. Previously, he thought that he was the strongest, but he didn't expect that he would be so much stronger. Based on common sense, it was already impossible for Tianyun to erupt with such power as a middle-level heavenly venerate. It was even more unbelievable that he could become even stronger. Again, Tianyun didn't stop to rest. Wielding the 5-dragon divine spear, he continued to fight against the evil spirit. Overall, it was still acceptable. It was just that the evil aura would gradually invade his body, making him feel a little uncomfortable. In the past, the title could still resist the invasion of evil energy. However, in the face of the terrifying evil energy of the evil spirits, it could only helplessly surrender. "I don't believe it!" The evil spirits also charged over and clashed head-on with Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun was pushed back again and again. The power of the evil spirits seeped deeper and deeper into his body. Even his arms were dyed black. However, he continued to fight head-on, completely ignoring the injuries on his body. After all, every time he clashed head-on, the other party would also become weaker. The power of the evil spirits could be said to decrease with each use. It wouldn't continue to increase. Yi Tianyun was different. He could still recover through things like the voodoo wood divine set or by consuming elixirs. The evil spirits could only attack him once and only exhaust him once. As time passed, he would only become weaker. As long as Yi Tianyun could persevere, everything would not be a problem. Reality proved that this was the case. Under the continuous attacks, the evil spirits became more and more nervous. Every attack would send Yi Tianyun flying. Sometimes, Yi Tianyun would even suffer serious injuries. However, every time, Yi Tianyun would stubbornly hold on and continue to recover from his injuries. Especially when he kept stuffing elixirs into his mouth. His recovery speed was extremely shocking. Yi Tianyun had crazy mode, which could enhance the effects of elixirs. Therefore, after stuffing elixirs into his mouth, he could greatly enhance his recovery ability and rapidly recover from his injuries. That's why Yi Tianyun was able to survive the continuous battles. As he attacked, the evil spirits became more and more anxious. If this continued, he would be finished. How did this kid cultivate? His recovery ability is so strong. The evil spirits' face became more and more ugly. If this continued, his energy would decrease, and he would not be able to control this body anymore. The Divine Spirit Clan Elder would definitely take over this body. After a few attacks, the evil spirits hurriedly stretched out his hand and said, "Kid, stop. I want to discuss something with you." Yi Tianyun didn't pay any attention to him at all. He kept stabbing the 5-dragon divine spear in his hand without any signs of stopping. "Stop. Stop right now. I am the evil spirits, a dignified evil spirit. I could have been an emperor god, but now I am sealed here. As long as you let me go, I will make you the second emperor god, or the strongest existence under me. At that time, you will be able to possess all the treasures here, and you will be able to order anyone to do things for you." The evil spirits began to tempt him, using the same old trick. But this old trick had many people falling for it. Too many people could not resist the temptation. Moreover, the evil spirits had a great reputation. If he was really resurrected, it would not be a problem for him to become an emperor god. As the one who saved him, the benefits he would receive would be extremely shocking. The benefits of being the strongest under him would naturally be amazing. Even if he could not break through to become an emperor god, he would at least be infinitely close to it. But this kind of temptation had no effect on Yi Tianyun. The 5-dragon divine spear in his hand continued to attack. He would not believe the nonsense of the evil spirit. The evil spirits would definitely make him sign a slave contract or something. Moreover, he had no interest in such things. What did he mean by ruling over everything? Even if he had such thoughts, he did not want to rely on the evil spirits for help. He wanted to do it himself. "Ah, you lunatic, unless you don't seal me, you will definitely be sucked dry by me." The evil spirits shouted. But no matter how he shouted, it was useless. The energy released by the evil spirit's pearl became weaker and weaker. If this continued, it would disappear. Finally, after a period of time, Yi Tianyun suddenly pierced through and hit the evil spirits again. As time passed, the evil spirit's power continued to decline. Finally, it fell to the level of a middle heavenly god. The danger level had basically dropped to a very low level. Therefore, it was still hit by Yi Tianyun's attack. Once again, the evil spirit's body was injured. Under this attack, the body immediately deflated like a deflated balloon, quickly returning to its previous shriveled state. Chapter 1600. Tianyun breathed a sigh of relief after the Divine Spirit Clan elder regained his consciousness. It seems that the Divine Spirit Clan elder won't change back. This could be seen from the heretic God's Pearl. The evil energy it had released had basically all been retracted. The evil spirits had released most of their energy. Now that the elder's energy was dominant, they wouldn't take over the body. Elder, can you control it? Tianyun asked. Yes, I can control my body. If it weren't for you, I would have fallen. At most, I could hold on for a while longer. I'm afraid I would be completely taken over, and my soul would disappear. The elder sighed, feeling lucky. Tianyun felt lucky to see a living person. This way, he could understand a lot of things. Elder, are you the last guardian? Tianyun asked as he looked around, but he didn't see anyone else. Normally, when a guardian couldn't hold on, they would immediately appoint a new guardian. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a good thing to be controlled. Yes, I am the last guardian. I wanted to go out and choose the next guardian, but the situation didn't allow it. When I wanted to go out, I was already a little bit controlled. I could only wait here for someone like you to appear. The elder was happy. I didn't expect that after so many years, it would finally happen. You know, the three realms exists in Fanyu. I didn't have much hope. Fortunately, God still cares for us. He didn't completely destroy all hope. You can see the situation now. I can't continue to be a guardian. I'm going to die soon. Now, let me ask you, are you willing to be the next guardian? The elder's expression became serious. This is a very serious question. I don't want to force you. It's all up to you. If you don't choose to become a guardian, then I will seal the evil spirit's orb, but it won't be for too long. It won't last as long as a guardian. But if you become a protector, it means that your essence blood will be constantly absorbed. From beginning to end, it will be constantly absorbed until the next protector is found. Of course, in the process, you can use the power of the evil spirits to become extremely powerful. However, the price is also painful. It will accelerate the absorption of essence blood. The elder of the Divine Spirit Clan didn't intend to force Tianyun to accept it. Everything was up to him. Becoming a guardian wasn't a good job, but it wasn't too bad either. At the very least, it would make him invincible for a period of time. If I don't become a guardian, how long will this seal last? Asked Tianyun. In at most 1,000 years the seal will be broken. At the same time, the evil spirit's orb will be able to absorb spiritual energy more easily. If it's a guardian, it will absorb its own power. It won't be able to absorb the power of heaven and earth like when it's sealed. In terms of time, a guardian can control at least 10,000 years, or even longer. As long as it isn't used all the time, it can be sealed for a long time. After a moment of silence, Tianyun's eyes lit up. Right, I wonder if I can seal the evil spirit's orb in this body? Then, Tianyun took out the evil spirit puppet. He didn't want to have the evil spirit's orb on him. If possible, he naturally wanted to seal it in the evil spirit puppet's body. Evil Spirit Clan? The elder of the Divine Spirit Clan looked at the Evil Spirit Clan. He didn't know why Tianyun had an Evil Spirit Clan with him. To be precise, this isn't an Evil Spirit Clan. It's a puppet I made myself. It looks no different from the Evil Spirit Clan. No matter how carefully I look, I can't see anything wrong with it. Tianyun smiled. So that's how it is. You are indeed a magical existence. It is our luck that a genius like you appeared in the three realms. Only when you appeared could the three realms undergo earth-shattering changes. The elder of the Divine Spirit Clan naturally knew everything that was happening outside. Naturally, he was paying attention to Tianyun's situation. It's just that this puppet's cultivation is too weak. If its cultivation was a bit stronger, it could be used as a guardian. This cultivation can't be lower than the middle-level heavenly venerable level. After all, if the evil spirits were a bit stronger, they would be easily affected. the elder of the Divine Spirit clan said in a deep voice. Although it's a puppet, we have to be careful. Middle level, heavenly, venerable level? Then please wait a moment. Tianyun's eyes lit up, and he immediately smashed all the evil spirit's soul and evil spirit's blood on the puppet's body. He had killed many evil spirit clan members before and obtained many heavenly venerable level and even heavenly god level puppet materials. After smashing them, his cultivation rose steadily and he quickly broke through to heavenly venerable level. Then a heavenly tribulation appeared. Heavenly tribulation? The elder of the Divine Spirit clan was shocked. He didn't expect a puppet to have heavenly tribulation, and it seems that its cultivation can continue to improve. Soon, Tianyun mobilized the puppet to break through the heavenly tribulation and successfully broke through to heavenly venerable level. Then, he rushed up again and easily reached middle level heavenly venerable level. He almost broke through to upper level heavenly venerable level. But he didn't stop. He threw the materials into the shop and sold them, then bought them again and again. He bought them in piles and then continued to smash them. Soon, he broke through to upper level heavenly venerable level, but it was only at early level. He didn't dare to continue, mainly because he spent too much crazy points. After a while, he will go to the evil spirit clan and kill them, then he can easily level up. A puppet is just a puppet. The experience it needs is much less than mine. Tianyun was very satisfied with this. Fortunately, he had a lot of materials, otherwise he wouldn't be able to break through to this level. After the upgrade, Tianyun looked at the elder of the Divine Spirit clan and said with a smile, "Elder, I am ready. I don't know if you are satisfied? This is amazing. I have never seen such a terrible ability. Even the Patriarch can't do this, right?" The elder of the Divine Spirit clan was stunned. His cultivation was very low, but in the blink of an eye, he became an upper-level heavenly venerable. It was as easy as drinking water. By the way, what about the Patriarch? Tianyun was puzzled. The Patriarch? He died in battle. In order to seal the evil spirits, he sacrificed himself. Fortunately, all the preparations were done before, leaving behind the three realms. The elder of the Divine Spirit clan sighed. The evil spirits are too scary. We must not let them see the light of day again, otherwise all divine realms will suffer, and it will be an absolute disaster. The evil spirits don't seem to exist in this world, but in another world. I don't know where they came from, but they brought a group of evil spirits. They devour everything. Chapter 1601. The Outside World, What's Going On? Tianyun was very suspicious about this. Wasn't it just divided into the inner divine realm and the outer divine realm? Yes, the Patriarch had investigated it before and discovered that there really was an outside world. However, it has already been isolated. A special barrier has appeared, and there is no way to go out, and there is no way to enter. It should have been repaired automatically. The Divine Spirit Race Elder said in a deep voice, "Perhaps the evil spirits came from the outside world. According to the records, there was no evil spirit race in the past, but suddenly, a group of evil spirit race appeared and started a crazy massacre. This evil spirits is the Patriarch of the evil spirit race. He was the one who led the evil spirit race in." After Tianyun heard this, he was extremely shocked. This seemed to have overturned his understanding. He had originally thought that the evil spirit race existed here, but he never thought that they did not exist in this world, but belonged to an invading race. In this way, everything made sense. The reason why the evil spirit race devoured everything, regardless of race, was mainly because they were not people of this world. They came in to rule this world. There's such a thing. Tianyun's expression was solemn. If that was the case, the evil spirit race would really be completely eradicated. Yes, so we absolutely cannot let the evil spirits descend again. If they descend again, I'm afraid that all life will be enslaved by them. In fact, the protective barrier will even be broken. The Divine Spirit Race Elder said in a deep voice, "This requires us to unite and deal with it together. Otherwise, it will be difficult to succeed, and the destruction it will bring will be unprecedented." However, it seemed to be very difficult for a group of forces to unite. Unless there was an unprecedented crisis, it was impossible for them to join hands. All of them lived for their own interests, so why should they cooperate? "This is indeed a problem." Etienne's expression was solemn. It had to be said that the Guardians were rather pitiful. If they could not get support and were attacked instead, it would be truly chilling. But I believe that we will unite. This was the case back then. The Divine Spirit Race Elder's eyes flickered as he recalled the situation back then. If they hadn't stood up, they would have really fallen. They were indeed very united back then. In times of crisis, they were still very united. Etienne nodded. He had seen those scenes during the trial of light. Most of the divine domains joined hands to resist the evil spirit race and finally successfully sealed the evil spirit. They might not have been able to completely annihilate them, but they had shown him the power of unity. They could defeat the experts of the other side. The Divine Spirit Clan's elder turned his gaze to the evil spirit puppet and smiled faintly. Then tried to transfer the evil god's pearl over. If he could completely control it, it would mean that he had succeeded, and it would be a very great feat. After all, it's a puppet, unlike us who have to use our bodies to suppress it. If we can use puppets to suppress them, then we can really reduce a lot of unnecessary sacrifices. The elder of the Divine Spirit Race did not reject this method. If there were no problems, he would approve of this method. He, who had been tortured all this time, knew what it felt like. If he could use puppets to suppress them, then it would undoubtedly be very easy. There won't be any problems. I can completely control this puppet and do whatever I want. It will also absorb energy to suppress the evil spirit's pearl. Etienne said in a deep voice. "Okay, then let's try it now. After all, it's an evil spirit puppet. No matter what, it has the same origin as the evil spirits, so it's still a bit dangerous." He might have been able to relax with other puppets, but the evil spirit puppet was different. However, he still planned to try. If it didn't work, he could let Etienne suppress it. Then, the elder of the Divine Spirit Race quickly formed hand seals, and the evil spirit's pearl in his chest started to be pulled out bit by bit. Blood kept flowing from where it was pulled out. The evil spirit's pearl seemed to have grown on it, so it was not easy to pull it out. The elder of the Divine Spirit Race did not make a sound. It was as if he did not feel any pain as he pulled it out bit by bit. Finally, when it was completely pulled out, he fiercely slapped the evil spirit puppet's chest. After the elder of the Divine Spirit Race slapped it in, he quickly formed hand seals and formed various arrays on it. Soon, the evil spirit's pearl was firmly stuck on it. As soon as the evil spirit's pearl was stuck on it, black lines immediately appeared and covered the entire puppet. It was as if the evil spirit's pearl had taken root in it. After the elder of the Divine Spirit Race was hit, his body swayed and fell to the side. However, Etienne reacted quickly and quickly supported him. At the same time, he started to heal the elder of the Divine Spirit Race. The big hole in his chest started to heal bit by bit. "Child, thank you. I don't need this anymore." The elder of the Divine Spirit Race revealed a gentle smile and patted his arm. He smiled and said, "I know that I'm already at the end of my rope. Even if I heal this injury, it's useless." His blood energy was completely depleted, and there was only a little bit left. Moreover, his soul was injured, which was simply one disaster after another. Even Etienne couldn't save him. No matter what kind of treatment he received, he couldn't recover. His blood energy could be replenished, but the damage to his soul was too serious. The fact that he was still alive was just hanging by a thread. "Thank you for your sacrifice." In the end, Etienne could only say that. "The future depends on you." The elder of the Divine Spirit Race smiled. then closed his eyes and slept forever. Even if Tianyun had a life that could be saved, he couldn't save the elder of the divine spirit race. This kind of life could only be saved from its current state, which meant that even if it was saved, its blood energy would still be depleted, and its soul would be missing. If it was saved directly, it would be impossible for everything to return to its young state. This item wasn't that invincible. After the elder of the divine spirit race left peacefully, Tianyun turned his head to look at the evil spirit puppet. At this moment, the evil spirit's pearl in the evil spirit puppet's chest started to absorb its blood essence bit by bit. It wanted to suck it dry completely. As expected, as a guardian, its blood essence would naturally be sucked out bit by bit. This evil spirit's pearl was really evil. Huh? It's the energy of my race? The evil spirit was ecstatic. He didn't expect that it would be the body of his race. This way, the absorption rate would undoubtedly be higher. However, when he wanted to continue absorbing, he found that the blood essence had been cut off, and he couldn't absorb it at all. Only the energy that was suppressing him was still there. He could only absorb this energy that was suppressing him. What's going on? I can't absorb the blood essence. This is impossible. The evil spirits were dumbfounded. Logically speaking, no cultivator could cut off the blood essence in their body. They had to circulate it throughout their body, and they couldn't cut it off. Chapter 1602. The evil spirits immediately panicked. He thought that he could recover faster by absorbing the essence of his own clan. He even thought that he had been saved by his own people. But when he could not absorb the essence blood, he was dumbfounded. If he could not absorb it, he could not recover quickly. It was basically the same as cutting off food. But he could feel that he was not in a formation. Instead, he was sealed through his body. The surging energy was used as a sealing force to seal him. Under normal circumstances, the essence blood could not be cut off. It was like a cultivator. How could he live without blood in his body? Even if he was beaten to death and only his head was left, there would still be essence blood in his head. It was just that the essence blood was gathered in his head. That was why he was not completely destroyed. Without the essence blood, he was like a piece of wood. He could not absorb it at all. You can absorb it, right? Tianyun's voice sounded beside him. The evil spirits could see what was happening outside through the evil spirit's pearl. He immediately saw Tianyun's familiar face. It's you. The evil spirits was furious. But no matter how angry he was, it was useless. Being sealed in this body, he could not do anything even if he wanted to. That's right. It's me. Just stay in this puppet. I will make good use of you. Tianyun smiled. He did not expect the effect of the evil spirit puppet to be so good. A normal cultivator could not cut off the essence blood supply. But the evil spirit puppet was not a normal cultivator. It was a puppet. A puppet did not have life. It only felt like it was alive, but in reality, it did not have any signs of life. Therefore, cutting off the essence blood supply was not a problem at all. He could control it however he wanted. It was a perfect sealing effect. He did not expect that the problem that had been troubling him would be solved just like that. As long as he used the evil spirit puppet, even if he had to seal a few more evil spirit's pearls, it would not be a problem. If he could not seal one evil spirit puppet, he could just create a second one. It was not difficult at all. The key was that the evil spirits were sealed by his own clan's puppet. It was a great irony. Puppet, what's going on? The evil spirits shouted. This meant that it would be difficult for him to escape. He would be trapped for a long time, and he would not be able to possess the divine spirit race's elder. There's no need for you to know, idiot. Tianyun coldly chuckled, and kept the sinister spirit puppet. He could not be bothered with him. He immediately incinerated the body of the divine spirit tribe's elder before scattering his ashes around the perimeter so that he could sleep in the ground forever. After completing this task, Tianyun raised his head and looked ahead. There was still a tunnel in front of him. It seemed that the other side was the true destination. Perhaps the mission would be complete once they reached it. After passing through the passageway, what greeted them was still a pitch-black scene, rank 7 dark core. As expected, there was still an incomparably huge core of darkness in front of them. Endless power of darkness seeped into the ground, maintaining the 3 realms. The power of darkness was not the same as the power of evil. Only by using it correctly could one determine whether it was evil or not. Tianyun walked in front of the dark core and began to absorb it to strengthen the dark planet in his body. He wanted to improve his strength in all aspects. Therefore, he would not let go of such a high-grade core. After absorbing for a while, the dark planet in his body also became rank 7. He felt that he had improved again. The operation of the 3 realms is perfect. Tianyun took a deep breath, stood up, and continued to walk towards the end. When he stepped into the final passageway, he returned to the boundary. At the same time, the artifact spirit's voice rang in his ears. "Congratulations, you have successfully passed the dark trial. You have become the true master of the 3 realms." The artifact spirit was a little excited. The 3 realms would be able to display its true strength if it had a master again. "I have finally completed all the tests." Tianyun felt that it was extremely difficult. Ding. Successfully completed the special mission, passed the dark trial. Received the title Master of the Underworld. Ding. Successfully completed all the missions of the 3 realms. Become the Master of the 3 realms. Master of the 3 realms. Can control everything here. You are the true master of the 3 realms. There were no additional rewards. He could only obtain the right to control the 3 realms. But for him it was enough. The main reward this time was the evil spirit's orb. Because it was owned by the evil spirit puppet, he could use the evil spirit puppet to try it the next time. He wondered what it would be like to mobilize the power of the evil spirit. "Yes, you have completed all the tests. You can now enter the previous master's room." The artifact spirit bowed to him respectfully. At the same time, he waved his hand. A staircase appeared in the void and landed in front of Tianyun. In front of him was a staircase that led to a void passageway. There was no doubt that the void passageway in front of him was similar to a small world. Tianyun did not hesitate. He lifted his feet and walked up. Perhaps this would allow him to understand the details. The elder of the Divine Spirit clan did not say anything to him before he died. There were many things that he did not understand. Now that he could enter the previous master's room, he could naturally understand it. After walking up and stepping into the void passageway, his eyes lit up. He found himself in an ordinary small room. There were many bookshelves here, and there were many different martial arts manuals on them. Every martial art manual was of a high grade, and there were all kinds of divine seals in them. These were all a large amount of wealth. There were so many precious martial arts books and divine seals left behind by the patriarch of the Divine Spirit clan. It should be said that he was the patriarch of the Divine Spirit clan and the most glorious member of the Divine Spirit clan. Apart from this, there was not much else here. There was no divine sense left behind. It was simply filled with all kinds of books. There was also a pearl at the very front. It looked like there was energy flowing inside. Tianyun recognized at a glance that this was a memory pearl. It should be the memory left behind by the patriarch of the Divine Spirit clan. He walked over and picked up the memory pearl. He started to read the memories inside. Soon, a wave of memories flowed into his head, allowing him to know many things. So it's like this, there were no overly complicated memories, nor was there any divine will. It was just very fast, allowing him to understand everything at the moment. He now knew everything that he did not know before. The content was very simple. When the patriarch of the Divine Spirit clan was fighting against the evil spirits, he discovered the outside world and saw the crack in the barrier that had automatically repaired itself. Chapter 1603. The overall content was very simple, and it was obvious that he had left these memories in a hurry. They were mostly warnings. It was very likely that he had hurriedly prepared all of this before the battle and immediately accepted the battle. As for the formation, it had been set up a long time ago. From the start, he had planned to seal the evil spirit. The evil spirits were too strong and they could not be killed. After the God Spirit Race's patriarch researched and found that he could not kill the evil spirits, he could only choose to seal them. This was because with their current strength, they could not kill the evil spirits' souls. The evil spirits' souls were abnormally strong, unprecedentedly strong, and terrifyingly tenacious. As long as the souls were not destroyed, the evil spirits could not be killed. They could only choose to cut them into pieces and seal them. This was the most helpless method. They could only hope that an expert would appear in the future and kill the evil spirit. However, the most powerful God Spirit Race's patriarch had died just like that. In order to seal him, he had paid the price of his life. The overall introduction was relatively simple. The three realms existed to seal the head of the evil god, and at the same time, to resist the evil spirit race. Once all of its power exploded out, it would have an extremely strong power that could destroy everything. Back then, the God Spirit Race's patriarch had used the three realms' power and many experts to suppress the evil spirit. This was enough to show how terrifying the three realms were. The three cores were interlocked, and the combined power was very terrifying. After being sealed, the three realms were immediately controlled and flew to Fanyu to find an area to hide. Staying in the divine realm was quite dangerous. After all, there were many experts, and they would definitely be discovered. Fanyu was different. Sky gods and sky venerables would not go to Fanyu for no reason, so it was much safer. The evil spirit race was the same. Sky venerables and above definitely would not come over. As for Lord Taibai Jinxing and the Lord of Heaven, they were not worried. It was impossible for them to discover the secret here, so it was relatively safe. However, the problem it brought was also quite serious. It was very difficult for the next guardian to appear, causing the God Spirit Race's patriarch to be completely sucked dry and unable to recover. There was no way to have the best of both worlds, so he could only choose to sacrifice one side. As for the cultivators above, the patriarch of the Divine Spirit clan didn't make any special arrangements. He just randomly moved a group of cultivators over and placed them there to cultivate. There was no time for him to choose a genius or a genius to be placed here. However, with the existence of the three cores, the energy emitted from time to time could slightly strengthen them. All in all, everything was just a cover. There weren't any special arrangements. In the first place, the three realms were used to seal the evil spirits, not to train disciples. That's all I've told you. Tianyun felt that it wasn't detailed enough, but it had more or less explained who left behind the three realms. It turned out that this was the planet where the evil spirits were sealed. The cultivators on the planet were not specially selected. Everything was random. Even though it was random, the God Spirit Race's patriarch still hoped that some experts would successfully break through and discover the secrets of this place. After all, the God Spirit clan's patriarch had opened a small opening in the core area to let some energy leak out, forming a special environment. It was still much worse than the divine domain, but what it really changed was one's physique. Because Tianyun was surprised to find that this could change one's physique, making it easier for them to form multiple planets. This way, he could form multiple planets thanks to the nourishment of this place. Of course, with the system strengthening, it could increase the success rate of forming planet. This way, even without any ancient bloodline, he could still form multiple planet. Then, Tianyun walked around and looked at the record. Although there weren't many memories, there were many books that recorded things, such as the appearance of the evil spirit race and the situation of the evil spirit race. A lot of content was recorded here. Tianyun looked around and had a general idea. The evil spirits had come here to absorb a lot of ancient bloodlines, causing them to be on the verge of extinction. The evil spirits devoured crazily because they wanted to break through to the God Dharch realm. He knew this before. As the main culprit, they were really ruthless. In addition, there were many martial arts, all of which were heavenly venerable level martial arts. With these martial arts, it was enough to cultivate to the heavenly God realm. As for breaking through to the God Dharch realm, there were also some insights here. But in the end, the God Spirit Clan's patriarch didn't succeed in breaking through to the God Dharch realm before facing the fierce attack of the evil spirit. Tianyun flipped through the insight. There were many insights recorded in it. The God Spirit Clan's patriarch had tried many methods to break through. For example, forming multiple planets and strengthening one's physique to break through the final shackles. But the God Spirit Clan's patriarch found that he had been restricted to a limit and couldn't break through. It was as if he was trapped. He felt like he was stuck and couldn't break through, so he kept trying all kinds of abilities. The God Spirit Clan's patriarch is indeed a 10 refinement Earth Lord. Tianyun's eyes lit up. Many cultivators had successfully broken through to the 10 refinement Earth Lord realm, but they were all devoured. After reading for a while, he left this place. There was nothing else to see here. As for those martial arts, he will slowly cultivate them. When the 3 realms divine realm is a little more mature, I will teach these martial arts. Tianyun will not teach these martial arts for the time being. The grade is too high, they can't cultivate it with their cultivation. Back on the ground, he immediately went to find Feng Qiuzun, and at the same time, he also pulled Shishuyun. Yes, he even pulled Shishuyun. Shishuyun was the palace master of Jade Palace before, so she has a lot of ideas in this area. After a brief explanation, Shishuyun immediately knew what was going on. You want me to form an alliance? Shishuyun was a little shocked after knowing. She is now at the level of the Lord of Heaven, and she still needs to negotiate with those heavenly masters and heavenly gods? Isn't this a little too much pressure? It should be said, will those powerful cultivators be willing to communicate with a cultivator whose cultivation is so much lower than them? The gap in cultivation is too big, and the status is not equal. It is easy to have problems. Yes, you don't need to worry about anything, I am here. Tianyun smiled lightly and said, and don't always think too badly of yourself. Cultivation may be important, but sometimes it is not the point. Besides, with me behind you, no one dares to ignore you. Shishuyun's heart warmed, and immediately smiled slightly and said, well, since you think I can do it, then I will go with you. Chapter 1604. Tianyun called for Feng Qiuzun, and brought Shishuyun directly to the Xiao Tian God domain to meet with the Great Devis. You found Feng Qiuzun so quickly? The Great Devis was slightly surprised. Feng Qiuzun had always been elusive. She could be helping cultivators somewhere, or she could be cultivating in seclusion somewhere. Basically, she did not have a fixed location. Under such circumstances, it was rather difficult to find her. Who knew that Tianyun would find her so quickly, and it did not take long. Actually, Feng Qiuzun has always been in the God domain of the 3 realms. Or rather, she has long joined my force. Tianyun smiled and did not hide this matter. He was too lazy to say anything else. There was no need to hide anything from his master. He would find out in the future anyway. The Great Devis's heart shook. He did not expect that Feng Qiuzun, who was so difficult to deal with, would be taken care of just like that. The Great Devis looked at Feng Qiuzun. She smiled and nodded, acknowledging that she had already joined the God domain of the 3 realms. So secretive, suddenly giving me such a huge piece of news. No wonder you were so confident that you were going to find Feng Qiuzun. The Great Devis smiled, then looked at Shishuyun beside Tianyun, and asked curiously, your Dao companion is going too? Yes, Shuiyun is going with me. Tianyun smiled faintly. This time, it is not only the Xiao Tian God Domain Alliance. Our God Domain of the Three Realms also wants to form an alliance with Yuelong God Domain. So it is like that, but it is slightly difficult. The great Devis was more straightforward. His thoughts were the same as Feng Qiuzun. In a situation where their positions were not equal, forming an alliance was too difficult. Although Tianyun was very capable, he was just one person, unless his cultivation was really heaven-defying, reaching middle-level heavenly god, or upper-level heavenly god, only then would he be qualified. That's not a problem. You'll know when the time comes. Tianyun smiled and did not reveal his secret. Under the guidance of the great Devis, they quickly made their way to Yuelong's god domain. Yuelong's divine domain is in front of us. The great Devis controlled the spirit ship, preparing to warn them once they arrived. At this moment, Shi Shuyun was a little nervous. Even as the manager of the god realm of the Three Realms, she would still feel nervous in the face of such a colossus. After all, Yuelong's god domain was simply too powerful. Especially after Tianyun's explanation, he knew what kind of existence she was about to negotiate an alliance with. In the god realm of the Three Realms, excluding those who joined later, the highest cultivation level was only at the level of the Lord of Heaven. Even those who joined later were only divine monarchs, the highest being heavenly venerables. Yuelong, on the other hand, had many heavenly deities in his god domain. One could well imagine the pressure. The difference in their levels made her feel uncertain. As she was feeling nervous, she felt a warmth in her hand, causing her to look up and see Tianyun's smile. "Don't be nervous, I'm here." Tianyun held her hand tightly, indicating that she shouldn't be nervous. Shi Shuyun nodded. Although the nervousness in her heart had decreased a little, she was still a little nervous. Soon, they arrived at the region of Yuelong's god domain. As far as the eye could see, they could see a bright moon hanging high in the void. In truth, this wasn't a bright moon, but rows of planets that formed a crescent moon that emitted a faint light. Thus, from a distance, it looked like a crescent moon hanging in the void. How beautiful! Tianyun was shocked by this scene. The other influences were scattered, but here they were stacked on top of each other, forming a crescent moon. This crescent moon wasn't casually arranged. It was clearly a great array formation that could use the power of many planets to erupt together, forming a fatal attack. Shi Shuyun was also shocked. She didn't think that there would be such a way of arranging things. It is indeed beautiful. I don't know how many times I've seen it, but I'm still mesmerized by it. The great Devis shook his head and sighed. As Supremacy Feng Qiu saw this, her eyes turned red. This was the place she had stayed in before. However, when they found out that her parents might be demons, it was impossible for her influence to be implicated, so she could only choose to leave. Now that she had returned and recalled the past, she couldn't help but feel moved. As they were about to approach, 4 female guards immediately appeared in front of them. Their cultivations were all at the Empyrean level. "Who are you?" they shouted, indicating for them to stop. The great Devis led them out of the spirit ship. When they saw who it was, they cried out in surprise, "Elder Feng Qiu? Long time no see, but I am no longer your elder, so don't call me that." Supremacy Feng Qiu sighed. "You will always be our elder. Even if you leave here, you will still be our elder. After all, outside, you have always taken good care of all our disciples. No matter what happens, you will always come to our rescue." Their eyes were red as they said, "Elder Feng Qiu, you should come back. The great elder and the region lord are all worried about you." Supremacy Feng Qiu's cultivation might not be particularly amazing, but she was indeed a super genius. Thus, she had become an elder-level existence. However, to become an elder wasn't because she was too talented, but because of her kind heart and willingness to help others. This caused her prestige to rise. Tianyun looked at Supremacy Feng Qiu. He knew that they would encounter such a thing. What would happen if Supremacy Feng Qiu went back? It had to be known that she had joined the divine realm of the three realms. If she left, that wouldn't be a good thing. There is no need to say that. Once I have decided on something, I will not go back on my word. This time, I came back because I have something to discuss with the Region Lord. I wonder if I can bring them in? Supremacy Feng Qiu pointed at Yi Tianyun and the others. Of course you can. Elder Feng Qiu, bring them in at will. They warmly moved aside and gestured for them to come in. The great Devis shook his head. Truly, people were treated differently. When others came in, their treatment was terrible, and they refused to leave. Now that Supremacy Feng Qiu had brought them in, it was even easier. I already said not to call me elder. Supremacy Feng Qiu was extremely helpless. She was no longer an elder. If they still called her elder, she would feel ashamed. Understood, Elder Feng Qiu. They smiled and said. They looked at each other. When Supremacy Feng Qiu returned, she would definitely not let her leave. She would stay and not let her leave. Little did they know that Supremacy Feng Qiu had already joined the divine realm of the three realms. She just did not announce it. Supremacy Feng Qiu sighed. She was too lazy to correct them. Call her whatever she wanted. Chapter 1605. After entering, Yi Tianyun was even more shocked by the scene inside. Silver light sprinkled from the top. It really looks like the moon is sprinkling down from the sky. In truth, it came from these planets. Their cores were all light cores. That was why they had such a special effect. When this light shone down, it was like sunlight, giving them a warm feeling. But it was not as glaring as sunlight, it was as gentle as moonlight. Yi Tianyun knew that there was a hidden danger inside. If the formation was activated, the area he was in would become the attack range. So many light cores, it's really a big deal. Just from this, it was clear why Yuelong's god domain was so strong. Under Feng Qiuzun's lead, they flew directly to the Elder Hall. Coincidentally, it was the planet in the middle of the crescent moon planet. This was equivalent to the eye of Yuelong's god domain. Naturally, it would be the Elder Hall. The Elder Hall that was originally heavily guarded was immediately opened for them. It was mainly because Feng Qiuzun led the way that everything went so smoothly. Elder Feng Qiu, you're back. Elder Feng Qiu, you've become more beautiful. Elder Feng Qiu. Along the way, the surrounding cultivators all greeted her respectfully, causing Feng Qiuzun to be touched and embarrassed. She was very touched, but also very embarrassed. She had already left this place, and they still called her that. She was really ashamed. Yi Tianyun, who was following behind, shook his head, but he knew that Feng Qiuzun would not leave her god domain. There was only one special possibility, and that was to restore Yuelong's position in the god domain, but she would still be a person of the three realms god domain. This was still acceptable to Yi Tianyun. As long as she was a person of the three realms god domain, it was enough. Along the way, all that Yi Tianyun saw were female cultivators. He really did not see a single male cultivator. This was really like what the outside world said. There was really not a single male cultivator here. He swept his gaze across. Their talent was not bad. There were also those with average talent, but they all enjoyed equal treatment here. If he wanted to obtain more benefits, he would have to rely on his own hard work. When she arrived at the Elders' Hall, a few elders immediately came out to welcome her and said with a smile, "Elder Feng Qiu, you're back?" These elders were all heavenly gods. They were still polite to Feng Qiuzun, and did not act high and mighty just because their cultivation base was lower than theirs. Venerable Feng Qiu's reputation was not just for show, and she was indeed a genius. To be able to cultivate to this level in 1,000 years, after a period of time, it would not be a problem for her to surpass them. Yes, I have something to tell Domain Lord. Venerable Feng Qiu was already numb. Whatever they called him, they could call him that. The Domain Lord is currently dealing with some matters. If there's anything, you can look for the Great Elder. The Great Elder is inside. You can go over now. When they looked at Yi Tianyun, they immediately knew what was going on. It was definitely this group of people who had come to find the domain master. But since it was brought by Feng Qiuzun, they did not say anything, and were instead thinking about how to pull Feng Qiuzun back. Ever since Feng Qiuzun left, she had not returned. Now that she had come back, and it was for someone else, it was enough to prove that the group of people she had brought were very important to Feng Qiuzun. Otherwise, why would she be willing to come back? This caused them to guess the reason behind it. What exactly was going on? Following them, they went straight to find the Great Elder. The Great Elder of Yuelong Divine Realm was inside handling affairs. When they entered, she raised her head and looked over. Elder Feng Qiu? Her beautiful eyes lit up, revealing a look of pleasant surprise. The Great Elder in front of her was extremely beautiful. She seemed to be addressed as Great Elder, and looked no different from a young woman in her 20s. But her cultivation base was extremely domineering, reaching the level of an intermediate heavenly god. Great Elder! When Feng Qiuzun saw the Great Elder, she looked very awkward. It's good that you're back, it's good that you're back. Don't leave this time, come back to Yuelong Divine Realm. Everyone misses you, and is looking forward to your return. Heavenly Goddess Ling Bing took her small hand and said gently. Tianyun looked on from the side, and felt that Feng Qiuzun was returning home, not to some force. Let's not talk about this for now. Feng Qiuzun shook her head, not wanting to talk about this for now. She then turned to look at Tianyun and the others and said, I came back this time to bring them here to discuss some things with you. Oh, what do you want? When Heavenly Goddess Ling Bing turned to look at them, her expression immediately became cold, and her smile was nowhere to be seen. Heavenly Goddess Ling Bing, I am an elder of the Heavenly Cultivation Divine Realm, and I came here to form an alliance with you. The Great Devis stood up and said, Sorry, we don't plan to form an alliance with any divine realm. If that's all, you can leave now. Heavenly Goddess Ling Bing was very unreasonable, and she immediately refused without even thinking. This made the Great Devis feel extremely awkward. They had just arrived, and they were already leaving? Feng Qiuzun felt very helpless at the side. This was not something she could control, so she could only watch from the side. Don't tell me you don't want to think about it? You should know the news, right? Our Heavenly Cultivation Divine Realm has just been attacked by the evil spirit race, and they want to snatch the evil spirit's pearl. We are the guardians, and I heard that your Yuelong Divine Realm is also a guardian. The Great Devis said in a deep voice, In this way, if we form an alliance, it will undoubtedly be easier to protect this evil spirit's pearl. The fact that the Heaven Cultivation God Realm had been attacked was already known to everyone. How could no one know about such a big thing? Many cultivators squatted at the side and watched, spreading the news about this place. As for why they were fighting, they were not very clear. However, the Great Devis confessed, mainly because this was no longer a secret, so he might as well say it out. Only then would he be more sincere. We are not guardians, so you can't speak carelessly. Heavenly Goddess Ling Bing said coldly, I believe the Great Devis knows what the consequences will be. If it was announced, they would definitely be targeted by the evil spirit race immediately. Heavenly Goddess Ling Bing did not want Yuelong Divine Realm to be targeted. Regardless of whether you are or not, we control the evil spirit's pearl. If it is taken away by the evil spirit race, it is very likely that the evil spirits will revive. When the time comes, do you think you can escape responsibility? The Great Devis said sternly, This way, we have to form an alliance even more. If you choose to join the evil spirit race, then pretend that I didn't say anything. Chapter 1606. It was normal for the Great Devis to be infuriated. Even if he really didn't want to, he should have at least said it in a roundabout way. Such blunt words made him very displeased. As guardians, they had worked hard to protect the evil spirit's pearl in order to prevent other forces from being implicated, but they were treated with disdain. If the evil spirit's pearl was handed over to the evil spirit tribe, then after the evil spirit tribe resurrected the evil spirits, the entire Yuelong God realm would be destroyed. This was like a hero coming to a small village to help fend off demonic beasts. One day, he was very hungry and wanted to ask for some food, but the villagers rejected him harshly, saying that if he wanted food, he had to find it himself. If he retorted, he should at least provide some food in order to protect the village, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to protect it. However, the villagers retorted, saying that he was doing it voluntarily and that it had nothing to do with them. There were quite a lot of cruel truths like this. Now that this was how the great Devis treated them, how could they not be infuriated? No matter what, they had contributed to protecting the God realm, yet they were rejected so quickly. It was difficult for them to feel good even if they wanted to. That's your business, it has nothing to do with us. Heavenly Goddess Ling Bing retorted coldly. She wasn't going to fall for this. She felt like if the evil spirits had the ability to attack them, they would just have to defend them. You! The great Devis was instantly enraged. No matter how much the Yuelong God realm discriminated against male cultivators, they shouldn't be so unreasonable. Grand Elder, you are too impulsive. At this moment, an ethereal voice sounded from behind them. Following that, an exquisitely beautiful woman walked in leisurely from outside. Every step she took seemed to blend into this world, as if she had become one with it. More importantly, a faint light emanated from her body, making her look like a goddess of light. She was the Region Lord of Yuelong's Celestial Realm, also known as the Region Lord of Yuelong's Celestial Realm. Her cultivation had reached the late-stage Middle Celestial God Realm, and she was considered a relatively powerful existence. Even though she was a female cultivator, she was still ahead of many male cultivators. Ruler! Heavenly Goddess Ling Bing and the others said respectfully. Greetings, Region Lord Yuelong. The great Devis and Tianyun greeted respectfully. Region Lord Yuelong nodded and came in front of the great Devis and said, "The great elder is a bit prejudiced against your cultivation god realm, but it's not because you are the protectors." Region Lord Yuelong also stated in a very straightforward manner why Empyrean God Towering Ice had done this. "Are you prejudiced against our cultivation god realm?" The great Devis was stunned. He looked Heavenly Goddess Ling Bing up and down, completely at a loss for words. Could it be that the heavenly cultivation god realm had offended her? The great Devis has left the heavenly cultivation realm for a long time, right? It's normal that you don't know. Region Leader Yuelong looked at Empyrean Goddess Towering Ice and smiled calmly. Grand Elder, the great Devis doesn't know anything about this. There's no need for you to target him, is there? Humph, we're both from the heavenly cultivation god realm. There's no difference. Empyrean Goddess Towering Ice was still very blunt. This made the great Devis feel a bit awkward. There were many things that he didn't know. If the heavenly cultivation god realm did something bad to her, then it really wasn't because Empyrean Goddess Towering Ice was too harsh with her words. I wonder what the heavenly cultivation god realm did to Empyrean Goddess Towering Ice? I'm deeply sorry. I hope Empyrean Goddess Towering Ice won't take it to heart. The great Devis could only choose to bow his head. Since this was a matter of the heavenly cultivation god realm, he could only apologize. Although he didn't know what the situation was, and it wasn't his doing, he was now the representative, so he was the one to apologize. Seeing the great Devis apologize, Empyrean Goddess Towering Ice's face relaxed a little. Her tone was also not as cold as before. Forget it. It's normal that the great Devis doesn't know. After all, you've left the heavenly cultivation god realm for a long time. Actually, it's nothing much. I was originally a deacon in the heavenly cultivation god realm, but I was forced into a marriage alliance in the end. As you can see, I've already joined the Yuelong God realm. The great Devis wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. He didn't expect such an astonishing prodigy to be forced to leave because of something like this. He had to admit that the elders of the heavenly cultivation god realm must have been kicked in the head by a donkey. No wonder Empyrean goddess Towering Ice was so against forming an alliance. Just based on this matter alone, how could they form an alliance? It was already good enough that they didn't beat him up, but they still wanted to form an alliance? I really didn't know about this. I'm very sorry. The great Devis smiled awkwardly. This is our fault, and it's also the fault of those elders. Now that the environment has improved greatly, this kind of situation won't happen again. If he was here, this kind of thing definitely wouldn't happen. Using a woman to form an alliance. However, this was indeed a common method. However, this could easily lead to people thinking that he was a commodity to be traded, and his favorable impression of him would immediately disappear. Humph! Empyrean goddess Towering Ice snorted and didn't say anything else. At least her tone wasn't so cold, and the feeling of rejection was also much weaker. All right, you're here to form an alliance, right? Region Lord Yuelong smiled. Yes, we're here to form an alliance. We are the protectors of the evil spirit's pearl. I don't know if you are protectors, but if you are, then we should unite and resist the evil spirit's race together. The great Devis said in a deep voice, now that they're starting to counterattack, if our evil spirit's pearl is taken away, I'm afraid the entire god realm won't be able to live in peace. That's true. We've always heard about it, but we really don't know if you're protectors or not. Region Lord Yuelong smiled. Now that we know, we should stand up and help. After all, we're protectors, and helping each other is something we should do. Region Lord Yuelong said it straightforwardly. There was no need to hide this. Since the great Devis had already made it clear, there was no need to hide it. Usually, when they didn't know about the other party's situation, they would hide it a little. However, it was different now. After confirming the situation, there was no need to hide it. That's great. The great Devis was very excited. He didn't expect things to go so smoothly. He thought that the other party would make things difficult for them. Unexpectedly, Region Lord Yuelong was very straightforward. However, the fact that we're protectors needs to be kept a secret. The alliance also needs to be kept a secret. When we're attacked, we'll play a key role. There weren't many people present, only 1 or 2 elders. They were all trusted aides and were quite trustworthy. Of course, that's what we're thinking. Similarly, if Yuelong's god realm is attacked by the evil spirit race, we'll also immediately send reinforcements. The great Devis didn't ask for much. They just wanted to send reinforcements. Originally, an alliance wouldn't involve too many things. Both sides had their own ways of managing things, so it was impossible to arrange for people to come over. All right, it's settled then. Region Lord Yuelong nodded. While they were happily making their decision, Tianyun interrupted. Region Lord Yuelong, our god realm also wants to form an alliance with Yuelong's god realm. Chapter 1607. Region Lord Yuelong and the rest were surprised. Even the great Devis was surprised. He never thought that Tianyun would make such a request. Sovereign Fengqiu already knew, so she wasn't surprised. The 3 realms celestial realm wants to ally with us? Region Lord Yuelong was puzzled. If I remember correctly, it should be a new special celestial realm. Its overall strength seems to be rather average. If their overall strength was too low, then it would be far from an alliance. They would be protected. If Yuelong's celestial realm was attacked, how could the 3 realms celestial realm help? They definitely wouldn't be able to help at all. On the contrary, if something happened to the 3 realms celestial realm, they would have to rush over to help. It was obviously not worth it at all. Yes, our overall strength is indeed average, but we are also protectors. Tianyun smiled lightly. What? They were all shocked. This news was even more shocking. How did they suddenly become protectors? Tianyun, you are also a protector? The great Devis was incomparably shocked. When did his disciple become a protector? Why didn't he feel it? Yes, I just became a protector recently. I never thought I would become one, Tianyun said honestly. Then, through the evil spirit puppet, he released a bit of the evil spirit's pearl's aura. The thick evil energy seemed to come from his body, causing their expressions to change. But soon, Tianyun retracted the energy back into his body. I wonder, do I have the qualifications to ally with you? Tianyun smiled slightly. Their expressions were solemn. They all knew what it meant to become a protector. This was especially true for the vast Empyrean god. His heart ached. His disciple becoming a protector meant that he would have to endure the pain and torture. He would also be continuously bleeding. It would affect his breakthrough. It could be said that it wasn't worth it. It was a huge loss. Looking closely at them, Heavenly God Yulong only passed it to Regent Lord Xiutian when he couldn't hold on anymore, otherwise it would restrict Regent Lord Xiutian's breakthrough. Although he could still cultivate, without the evil spirit's orb, the cultivation speed would undoubtedly be faster. The evil spirit's pearl did not have any effects that could assist in cultivation. It could only be used to unleash a powerful force that could kill all enemies. To put it bluntly, it was just a weapon. Naturally, it wouldn't have any auxiliary functions. The main point was that this weapon would also damage itself. But now that the evil spirit's orb was already in his body, it was undoubtedly fatal unless he immediately moved it out. However, transferring it would also injure his body once more. The heretic god's pearl was not something that could be easily moved. It required a lot of power to move it. Or rather, if he were to transfer it now, it would consume more of his body's energy. He had to slow down a little. Tianyun, transfer this evil spirit's orb to me. This is too harmful to you. The great Devis immediately transmitted his voice to Tianyun, telling him to transfer it to him immediately. It wasn't that he was greedy for this thing, but he didn't want Tianyun's potential to be suppressed. How could it not affect his cultivation if his blood essence was constantly being extracted? Master, it's fine. I can suppress this, and I can suppress it perfectly. Tianyun smiled. He also planned to let him absorb the other evil spirit's orbs, so that others wouldn't have to suffer this kind of pain. In the past, he didn't have a choice. Now, he had an additional choice. Suppress it perfectly? The great Devis was a little confused. He didn't know how this perfect suppression was possible. Just as they were about to continue transmitting their voices, Regent Lord Yuelong beside them said in a deep voice, "This is all the more reason why you can't form an alliance. You should say that you should merge your forces or replace the protectors. Your cultivation base is too low and your forces are too weak. There's no way you can protect this evil spirit's orb." Her way of thinking was different from the great Devis. She didn't think that Tianyun had the power to protect the evil spirit's orb. The power of a middle-level heavenly venerable was still a far cry from it. No matter what, one had to have the cultivation base of a heavenly god to be qualified to possess the evil spirit's orb. There's no need for Regent Lord Yuelong to worry about this. I believe that I can still protect the evil spirit's orb. Tianyun said in a deep voice, "What we need to discuss now is the matter of the alliance. I admit that the current situation is still relatively weak, but I believe that we will catch up soon. On this point, Regent Lord Yuelong can ask Venerable Feng Qiu." "Ask Elder Feng Qiu?" Regent Lord Yuelong turned to look at Venerable Feng Qiu. Venerable Feng Qiu thought for a while before saying, "The overall situation of the three realms' god realm is on the weaker side. They are weaker than most of the god realms, but their breakthroughs are extremely fast. From the looks of it, they will be able to catch up in a short period of time. In less than 1,000 years, they will be able to catch up to most of the fourth-grade god realms." She had stayed in the three realms' god realm for a period of time. She was deeply impressed by the situation inside. Such rapid breakthroughs was truly unprecedented. Not only that, Heavenly Venerable Tianyun's Tao companion, who is also Snow Cloud Lord of Heaven, has a similar management philosophy as us. They both focus on the development of female cultivators. Venerable Feng Qiu's gaze turned to Shi Xun. Similar to our philosophy? Regent Lord Yuelong's beautiful eyes flickered. She was somewhat interested in this. Shi Xuan quivered. She seemed to know why Yi Tianyun called her over. It was probably because of this that he called her over. Regent Lord Yuelong, I am the Regent Empress of the Three Realms God Realm. I am mainly involved in the management of the Three Realms God Realm. Our advantage is, Shi Xuan began to display the various advantages and potential of the Three Realms God Realm, as well as the factions that were continuously joining. Everything was displayed to prove that the Three Realms God Realm had endless potential. At the same time, it could protect the Evil Spirit's Pearl. She did not know what the Evil Spirit's Pearl was, but it was definitely something dangerous. Yi Tianyun did not tell her about the Evil Spirit's Pearl. After all, it was better not to say these things for the time being. He did not want to give her too much pressure. As Shi Xuan spoke more and more, she began to release her unique confidence. In her view, there might be a gap between them and the other god realms, but it was definitely not too far. There would also be a day when they would catch up. After explaining the general situation, Shi Xuan smiled and said, "This is our management philosophy. Even if we are not as good as the other god realms, we believe that one day, we will surpass the other god realms and become an extremely powerful fourth-grade god realm. In our view, talent is not the main point. Unity is the main point." Regent Lord Yuelong squinted at her. How many years had it been since a Lord of Heaven came to talk about philosophy with her? Usually, other Lords of Heaven would feel their legs go weak when they saw her. How could they talk about philosophy with her? Yi Tianyun, who was at the side, had a smile on his face. This was the reason why he brought Shi Xuan here. Chapter 1608. Shi Xuan spoke a lot. The more she spoke, the more arrogant and confident she became. Her previous nervousness was swept away. The god realm of the Three Realms gave her a lot of confidence. Even if she knew about the situation of the other god realms, she still felt that the Three Realms God Realm would surpass the other God Realms one day. Not only did the Three Realms God Realm have potential, but they also had a Region Lord, Yi Tianyun. With Yi Tianyun, they could replace most of the God Realms. Every time Yi Tianyun brought back a lot of resources. With all kinds of resources, they would definitely break through quickly. Without Yi Tianyun, it would be hard to surpass the other God Realms. They could only develop quickly and catch up with them. As for surpassing them, it would be difficult, but she believed that the Three Realms God Realm would not have any problems. Well said. Your philosophy is more or less the same as ours. Regent Lord Yuelong smiled. Based on your current situation, you do have the qualifications to form an alliance with us. Or rather, you are using your future power to form an alliance with us. With the current situation, the gap is still too big. This was what Yi Tianyun thought. Based on the current situation, the gap was huge. They were not on the same level at all. But he was using the future of the Three Realms God Realm as a bet. After all, the battle between God Emperors had not happened. The Evil Spirit's Pearl was not lost. The Three Realms God Realm still had a special barrier. There was no need to worry about safety. With these conditions, he had the confidence to form an alliance with Yuelong God Realm. In the end, it was just a temporary alliance. They did not need Yuelong God Realm's help. With the protection of the barrier, they did not need Yuelong God Realm's help. After 1,000 years, they would definitely develop. At that time, they would have enough power to support them. To them, 1,000 years was a very short time. Without tens of thousands of years, there was no time to talk about. It had to be said that bringing Shi Xuan over was the right choice. She was originally very against it. Now, Regent Lord Yuelong had somewhat accepted it. That's for sure. I wonder if Domain Lord Yuelong is willing to form an alliance with our deity realm of the Three Realms? Yi Tianyun smiled faintly. Regent Lord Yuelong narrowed his eyes at him, not in a hurry to answer. Instead, he turned to look at Venerable Feng Qiu. If I am not wrong, Elder Feng Qiu has already joined the divine realm of the three realms? What? Heavenly Goddess Towering Ice was astonished. This was quite a shocking piece of news to her. This news was somewhat shocking. Everyone looked at Feng Qiuzun, wanting to hear the truth from her. Feng Qiuzun nodded. Now that she had been seen through, she could only nod and agree. She really did join. What kind of curse did you cast on Elder Feng Qiu? Heavenly Goddess Ling Bing glowered at Yi Tianyun with an enraged expression. They had spent a long time but were unable to pull Feng Qiuzun back, and now they had joined the three realms' divine domain. A god's domain that used its future as a wager? What a joke! This kind of flattery was truly impressive. It was a rather peculiar curse that pulled her over. Yi Tianyun said with a smile, Regent Lord Yuelong, you still managed to see through this. After Elder Feng Qiu left, she basically wouldn't go to any faction, much less stay there for a long time. Now that she has stayed in your faction for a period of time, and has even seen the details of the situation, she can already see many things. Regent Lord Yuelong's observation skills were very sharp, and he immediately noticed. Feng Qiuzun, who had left the divine realm, was indeed unwilling to go to other factions, not even as a guest. Feng Qiuzun had rejected many people on this point, and not just one faction. On the other hand, there was only one possibility for someone to be willing to stay in a faction, and that was to join it. Regent Lord Yuelong's eyes are indeed like torches, you immediately saw through it. Yi Tianyun smiled, not feeling surprised. To be able to rope in Elder Feng Qiu, you must have some ability. Regent Lord Yuelong smiled. Since that's the case, then if you want to form an alliance with me, as long as you agree to one condition, I will immediately agree to form an alliance with you. What condition? Yi Tianyun narrowed his eyes and said, Bring Elder Feng Qiu back, and I will agree to form an alliance with you. Regent Lord Yuelong said with a smile. This? Shi Xuan and the others were stunned. This condition was really targeted. To actually use Feng Qiuzun as a condition. Do you agree? As long as you agree, I will agree to form an alliance with you. Regent Lord Yuelong smiled. Not only that, I will also give you a large amount of resources that you will definitely not be able to imagine. It will make it easier for you to break through. Such a huge temptation, it was really hard to resist. Just by giving up one person, they would have another backer, and also a lot of resources. It was really worth it. At this time, everyone looked at Yi Tianyun. They did not know how Yi Tianyun would answer. Would he agree or reject? Regent Lord Yuelong thinks too highly of me. First of all, Feng Qiuzun is not a condition, nor is she an item. From the start, I have already told Feng Qiuzun that I will not restrict her freedom. If she is willing to come back, then come back. Yi Tianyun shrugged his shoulders and said, Therefore, I cannot agree to this condition, nor can I agree to it. If you really only need Feng Qiuzun as a condition to form an alliance, then I am very sorry, this alliance will not be possible. Yi Tianyun was not angry, nor was he sad. He still maintained a faint smile on his face, looking extremely calm. This reply caused Feng Qiuzun to be stunned. Yi Tianyun had indeed replied like this before, to give her freedom, to do whatever she wanted. But when it came to the state of forming an alliance, he still directly rejected it without hesitation. This made her extremely moved, especially the previous sentence. It made her extremely moved. She was indeed not an item, and definitely not a condition. Regent Lord Yuelong stared at him for a long while, then laughed. Seems like Elder Feng Qiu did not follow the wrong person. Just based on what you have said, I will form an alliance with your divine domain of the three realms. But I still hope that Elder Feng Qiu can come back often, or hold a position on both sides. Regent Lord Yuelong greatly admired Yi Tianyun. It should be said that this reply made her extremely satisfied, and made her immediately agree to the alliance. If she casually gave up Feng Qiuzun, then without a doubt, she would not form an alliance. The reason was very simple: if she casually gave up Feng Qiuzun, then when Yuelong's divine domain was given up, it would also be extremely easy for her to betray them. Chapter 1609. This is up to Feng Qiuzun. If there is no problem, then I naturally have no problem with it. Tianyun would not make things difficult for Feng Qiuzun, there would be no problem with both of them. Anyway, Feng Qiuzun was on his side, so there was no problem. Feng Qiuzun was startled, and immediately said to Tianyun gratefully, "Thank you, Heavenly Cloud Domain Lord. This is your home. If I refuse, I am afraid that you will have more worries in your heart, which is not good for your cultivation." When Tianyun came to Yuelong Domain, he saw many things. She had always wanted to return to Yuelong Domain, but there were many things that happened before, so she did not dare to return. Now it was different, all the truth had been found out, but she had already joined the Three Realms domain, so she should not be able to return. Tianyun was very open-minded, allowing her to come and go as she pleased, without any restrictions. For Tianyun, as long as she was willing to stay here, it was enough. He believed that Feng Qiuzun would often stay in the Three Realms domain. The matter of the alliance is over. Now it is time to talk about the evil spirit's orb. Yuelong Domain Lord's smile disappeared, and he looked at Tianyun seriously. Although we agreed to the alliance, but the matter of the evil spirit's orb still cannot be put down. In my opinion, you will not be able to protect the evil spirit's orb. This was a very serious topic. He did not continue to talk about it before, mainly because of the matter of the alliance. He avoided it, but now he came back again. It is because my cultivation is low that I cannot protect the evil spirit's orb? Tianyun laughed. On the surface, it seemed like it was true. Yes. I will say these words very bluntly: either you give it to us to protect, or you give it to the heavenly cultivation domain to protect. We have no objections. This is also for your own good. If you bring it with you, it will undoubtedly bring disaster to yourself, and at the same time, it will bring disaster to your own forces. Of course, even if you hand over the evil spirit's orb, we can still form an alliance. This will not change. Domain Lord Yuelong gave two choices. He didn't force Tianyun to hand over the evil spirit's orb to Yuelong God Domain. He could hand it over to Xiao Tian God Domain, whom he could trust. What if I think I can protect the evil spirit's orb? Tianyun narrowed his eyes and said, "Then, can I protect the evil spirit's orb?" In order to protect the evil spirit's orb, one must be at least at the level of a heavenly god or above. Anyone below this level will not be able to protect it well. Do you think you have the strength to do so now? Region Lord Yuelong didn't know about Tianyun's real situation. She could only see that Tianyun's cultivation was only at the middle level of the heavenly venerable realm. I have the strength to do so. Tianyun glanced at the Great Devis. The Great Devis naturally knew about Tianyun's strength. Ordinary heavenly gods would be killed instantly. He believed that Tianyun had the strength to protect the evil spirit's orb. It was just that it wasn't worth it for him to keep having his blood and qi sucked away. This isn't something that you can just say. Unless you can prove yourself, you must hand over the evil spirit's orb to someone else for safekeeping. This is a matter of great importance. We can't afford to be careless. It wasn't that Region Lord Yuelong was too inflexible. Rather, the evil spirit's orb was related to the entire god domain. The evil spirits definitely couldn't be reborn. Although they hadn't experienced it themselves, they knew how terrifying the battle between god emperors was from the various destroyed god domains. Once they descended, the previous tragedy would happen again. I wonder how Region Lord Yuelong would like me to prove myself? Tianyun asked with a smile. Prove that you have the strength of a heavenly god. If you don't, then hand over the evil spirit's orb. It's that simple. Regent Lord Yuelong said sternly. It seems that Regent Lord Yuelong already has an idea. Then, please say it. Tianyun gestured. You said that you have the strength to protect it. Then, I will send 3 heavenly gods to deal with you. As long as you can withstand their attacks, I will admit that you have the qualifications to be the protector. Otherwise, you will have to hand it over. You can give it to the great Devis or you can give it to me. It's up to you. Regent Lord Yuelong said. Also, you absolutely can't use the evil spirit's orb. If you use the evil spirit's orb, it will be your loss. That's not a problem. Tianyun readily agreed. He knew that the Regent Lord would send people to test him. This was the simplest and crudest way. There was no better way than this. They didn't know Tianyun's situation, nor had they seen his fighting style. If one wanted to understand a person's overall strength, the most direct way was to fight. Then, Regent Lord Yuelong signaled Heavenly Goddess Towering Ice to make arrangements. Soon, she brought 3 female heavenly gods over. Each of them had sharp eyes. They were truly not inferior to men. Who said that female cultivators were weak? These heavenly gods were all extremely strong. Because this was a secret, there were only a few people in the hall. No one else was watching. Youngsters nowadays are getting more and more arrogant. Heavenly Goddess Towering Ice didn't want to call 3 people over. 1 heavenly god was enough. There was no need to call any more. Middle heavenly venerables against heavenly gods? What a joke. They would be instantly killed in one move. Greetings, Regent Lord. The 3 of them were deacons. When they arrived, they greeted respectfully. And you all already know the general situation. Which one of you will go first? Regent Lord Yuelong asked. She will go first. At this time, Tianyun stood up. He pointed at one of the heavenly gods and said with a sharp gaze, I plan to fight with her first. I wonder if that's okay? Regent Lord Yuelong looked at him. She didn't expect that Tianyun would stand up and suggest choosing a person. However, the result was similar. No matter who went first, Tianyun would have to defeat all 3 of them. Only then would it be considered a success. Sure. Regent Lord Yuelong looked at the deacon and said, Deacon Baifeng, I'll be counting on you to go first. Yes, Regent Lord. Deacon Baifeng stood up and looked at Tianyun with an indifferent expression. Deacon Baifeng had an ordinary appearance, but his cultivation was far from ordinary. Being able to cultivate to the heavenly god realm meant that he was definitely not trash. Please advise me. Deacon Baifeng didn't say much. He waved his palm and attacked Tianyun. There was a huge disparity in their cultivation, but Deacon Baifeng didn't have any intention of giving way. Heavenly Goddess Towering Ice had already instructed him, so he naturally knew what to do. For such a serious matter, there was no need to give way. On the battlefield, this was a battle of life and death. The moment Deacon Baifeng attacked, Tianyun already made his move. Without any hesitation, a 5-dragon divine spear appeared in his hand. With an astonishing speed, he dashed forward and pierced through Deacon Baifeng's body, pinning her to the ground. Instant kill. Direct instant kill. More importantly, this was a spar. Why was Tianyun so ruthless? Chapter 16:10. In front of everyone's shocked eyes, Tianyun directly nailed Baifeng Deacon to the ground. Baifeng Deacon couldn't move at all. The spear had almost pierced through Administrator Baifeng's head and killed her on the spot. This was a sparring match. Was there a need to be so cruel? You little brat, you are too ruthless. Get out of my way. Heavenly Goddess Towering Ice said angrily as she waved her palm at Tianyun. Even Feng Qiu covered her mouth in shock. She didn't think that Tianyun would be so cruel. Even if he wanted to prove himself, there was no need to be so cruel. All he needed to do was defeat his opponent. There was no need to be so cruel. Administrator Baifeng's eyes were filled with shock. She had only just attacked, and she had already been defeated? What kind of speed was this? She had been too careless. Wait! Region Leader Yuelong waved a hand and stopped Heavenly Goddess Towering Ice. She looked at Yi Tianyun with a cold expression. Region Leader, what's wrong? This is just a sparring match. There's no need to be so cruel. She was severely injured and almost killed Administrator Bai Feng. Heavenly Goddess Towering Ice was very anxious. Administrator Bai Feng was her subordinate. How could she not be worried? Look carefully. Region Leader Yuelong's eyes were sharp. She was much calmer. Heavenly Goddess Towering Ice's pupils contracted upon seeing this. The ground beneath Administrator Bai Feng's feet had been stained by a puddle of inky black blood. A sinister aura was emanating from this blood, and it was quite clear that this was not a normal bloodline. Instead, this was an extremely evil spirit tribe bloodline. Even though there were many races here, none of them were filled with evil energy. Only the bloodline of the evil spirit tribe was black and filled with evil energy. This meant that Administrator Bai Feng was a member of the evil spirit tribe. Everyone knew now. They had all fought against the evil spirit tribe before, so they knew what the bloodline of the evil spirit tribe was like. As one's cultivation base became higher and higher, it was very difficult to tell who was a member of the evil spirit tribe. Who would have thought that Administrator Bai Feng was a member of the evil spirit tribe? This was a very serious matter. When had the evil spirit tribe snuck in? I'm afraid your deacon Bai Feng is being controlled, Yi Tianyun said indifferently. The moment he laid eyes on Bai Feng, his appraisal eyes immediately saw through it. Previously, he hadn't been able to tell that Empyrean God Tower Cloud was an evil spirit, mainly because his level was simply too high and his cultivation base was simply too high. Bai Feng's cultivation was relatively low, and he was not a true evil spirit race. It was just that his bloodline had been corroded, causing him to look like an evil spirit race. In essence, he was not from the evil spirit race, so he did not directly kill him. Instead, he only restrained Bai Feng. To this, Heavenly Goddess Towering Ice was astonished. She hadn't noticed this all this time, but Yi Tianyun had. Even Region Leader Yuelong was unable to detect Administrator Bai Feng's transformation, let alone Heavenly Goddess Towering Ice. This was their dereliction of duty, especially when they were seen through by Yi Tianyun. That was really embarrassing. I didn't expect Administrator Bai Feng to have already been controlled. Even his bloodline has been modified. It is indeed difficult to tell that he is being controlled. Region Leader Yuelong was more rational. When she first saw this, she was indeed a little angry. Yi Tianyun was simply too ruthless. Even Administrator Bai Feng was not so ruthless, but Yi Tianyun was. However, when she saw the blood, she realized that she had misunderstood Yi Tianyun. Immediately afterward, they rushed over and sealed Administrator Bai Feng. At the same time, they prepared to expel the evil spirit bloodline from his body. Otherwise, he would not be able to break free. While they were sealing him, the others looked at each other. They didn't know how Yi Tianyun had seen through their plan. They recalled that Yi Tianyun had seen through Administrator Bai Feng from the very beginning and immediately stated that he wanted to fight Administrator Bai Feng first. Now, it seemed that he wanted to suppress Administrator Bai Feng. Region Leader Tianyun, how did you know? Region Leader Yuelong turned to look at Yi Tianyun after sealing Administrator Bai Feng. This is based on my intuition. I can feel an evil energy in her body. It is a very familiar evil energy, so I sealed her directly. Yi Tianyun said calmly, I have fought against the evil spirit race before, so I have some experience in this area. He wouldn't say that he had used his appraisal eye. If he just relied on intuition, it would be very easy for him to make a wrong judgment. They looked at each other. Even if it was just intuition, it was too accurate. Wasn't he afraid that it would be inaccurate? However, the truth was right in front of them, so they had to believe it. I see. I am sorry for what happened just now. Heavenly Goddess Ling Bing felt very embarrassed. She really wanted to slap him just now. If it weren't for Region Leader Yuelong, she would have slapped Tianyun away. It would be even more embarrassing if they found out that they had hit the wrong person. That's okay. The point is that she should be your trusted aide. Your so-called evil spirit's pearl is a secret. They probably already know about it, and many of them are probably under their control. Tianyun said in a low voice, to put it bluntly, it is very likely that many of your deacons or disciples have already been firmly under their control and have become their eyes. Unless they were very powerful, they would be easily seen through if they sent evil spirits over. For example, Heavenly God Torrential Cloud could evolve to a very perfect level, so that most people wouldn't be able to detect it. As for the others, they would definitely be easily discovered. Especially when they were recruited, they were seen through. However, it was undoubtedly much easier to capture and control them. Not only did they avoid detection, but they were also trusted aides, so it was even easier to obtain information. Hearing this, their expressions changed. Perhaps they really had noticed it a long time ago. They thought that they wouldn't be discovered because they had information about the evil spirit's pearl, but now it seemed that they had been discovered a long time ago. They just thought that they hadn't been discovered. Region Leader Tianyun, can I ask you to help me investigate the situation here and find all of them? Region Leader Yuelong said coldly. No problem. Tianyun had the same intention. Now was not the time to prove himself, but to quickly find these disciples who were under their control. Immediately, Tianyun went out with Region Leader Yuelong. They first started from the Elder Palace, then went to other areas. Although she could gather all of the disciples, she didn't want to alert them. More importantly, she didn't want to spread the influence of this matter. This was a very big matter. If she gathered all of the disciples, it would definitely cause panic. She would rather slow down and not make a mess. Chapter 16:11. As they went to more and more planets, Tianyun would find more and more cultivators. Basically, there were several disciples with contaminated bloodlines on every planet. These corrupted disciples all held important positions, which meant that they had access to a lot of information. This was a very cruel situation. Region Lord Yuelong's expression became more and more serious. She had never thought that such a situation would happen in her own faction. She had been investigating all kinds of situations. For example, when recruiting disciples, she would investigate the situation layer by layer, inside and out. As long as there was even a little bit of information, she would not hire them. If they really felt that this disciple was not bad and had some vague information, they would be hired, but they would be temporarily placed on a planet. They would only be allowed to move around after the investigation. Who would have thought that the evil spirit race would not start with those who had just joined? Instead, they would target those disciples who held important positions. They would probably catch them while they were training and quickly contaminate their bloodlines. This was equivalent to gradually controlling their souls and making them listen to their control. This method was very ruthless, and the price was also very high. The higher the cultivation, the higher the price. However, as a plunderer, the evil spirit race had astonishing resources. It was definitely enough for them to squander freely. After the planets were quickly searched, Tianyun took a deep breath and said, "It's almost done. We've searched all of them. As for those who are especially hidden or have not returned, I can't guarantee anything. At least those here have contaminated bloodlines. Region Lord Yuelong can check them one by one." Region Lord Yuelong brought this group of people back to the Elders' Hall. The others were still there. There were dozens of disciples here, including heavenly venerables and divine lord. They were all at different cultivation levels. So many. After seeing this, they immediately gasped. This was really terrible. So many disciples had been infected. If this was really the case, not only would their information be exposed, but there would also be no secrets to speak of. Unless it was some special secret, most of them would not be secrets at all. There are indeed a lot. Let me check them one by one. Regent Lord Yuelong hoped that Tianyun's judgment was wrong. She hoped that not so many disciples' bloodlines had been infected. This number was really shocking. All of them were expressionless. After being controlled, they could not move at all. Soon after, Regent Lord Yulong cut off their arms one by one. Soon, blood flowed out. It was a rather terrifying black blood. There were no exceptions. Regent Lord Yuelong's hope was undoubtedly shattered. Moreover, it was shattered in a very cruel manner. Not a single one of them was wrong. They were all correct. Tianyun's appraisal eyes, if he was wrong about this, he would really be blind. Not a single one of them is wrong. Regent Lord Yuelong's heart sank to the bottom. She just didn't want to have so many questions, but not a single one of them was wrong. The others wiped off their cold sweat. They didn't expect there to be so many of them. They were so deeply rooted that all the regions were covered. Tianyun's expression was indifferent. He already knew that there wouldn't be any mistakes. If there really was a mistake, then it would be because they were mistaken. Their bloodlines have been contaminated and forcibly controlled. If we want to get rid of it, not only will we have to clean up their bloodlines, but we will also have to kill the person controlling them. Tianyun said indifferently, I am not very clear about this. It will be up to Regent Lord Yuelong to find out. Tianyun's appraisal eyes couldn't tell who was controlling them. Their situation was very simple. First, their bloodlines were contaminated and then they were controlled. This control was equivalent to signing a slave contract. Needless to say, they had to kill the person controlling them in order to get rid of them. Yes, I will take care of this, Regent Lord Yuelong said in a deep voice. I really didn't expect so many of them to be controlled. This is really beyond my imagination. If it wasn't for Regent Lord Tianyun's help, I really would have been kept in the dark, thinking that this would never happen. Heavenly Goddess Towering Ice and the others were extremely ashamed. They really thought that they had done a good job, and that there was absolutely no traitor among them. Now, there was indeed no traitor among them, but they were forcibly controlled to become traitors. They were all innocent, but they were forcibly controlled. They couldn't struggle even if they wanted to. This kind of method infuriated them, and they felt like killing someone. Don't worry, I just helped along the way. Tianyun nodded and said, By the way, that proof? There is no need for that. With your previous strength, you have already proved that you can deal with heavenly gods without much problem. Furthermore, he has such a special sense that he is able to detect any abnormalities when the other party approaches. Just this point alone is something we can't compare with. Regent Lord Yuelong nodded and said, In this way, you are more reliable than us in keeping the evil spirit's orb. However, you are too young to be a guardian of the evil spirit's orb. It will have a great impact on you. That is all I have to say. What you do is up to you. All that is left is to form an alliance. The three major forces will form a secret alliance. She was not in a good mood. With so many disciples being controlled, how could she be in a good mood? She was in a very bad mood. Then, they immediately began to sign the alliance agreement and swear an alliance oath. After the alliance was formed, a voice sounded. Ding! Successfully completed the special quest, Ally with Yuelong's Celestial Realm. Reward. Main quest difficulty reduced by half, 10,000 crazy points, 10,000 proficiency points, and increased the friendship between Yuelong's Celestial Realm and Xiaotian's Celestial Realm. This task was relatively easy to complete. Although it was a bit complicated, it was still within the acceptable range. It was just that they were not in a good mood. After all, so many cultivators had been controlled. If it was anyone else, they would not be happy. It could even be said that their mood was very heavy. That's it for the time being. I still have something to deal with here. You can wander around here. Regent Lord Yuelong was naturally busy with a lot of things. First of all, she had to restore all the bloodline of her subordinates, and then find out who was controlling them. This matter was enough to keep her busy for a long time. Since Lord Yuelong has something to do, we will not bother you anymore. They knew that Lord Yuelong had a lot of things to do, so they left for the time being. After all, there was still a lot of things to be done here. Since their goal has been achieved, there was no need to stay here any longer. Immediately, Yi Tianyun and the others left together. Lord Yuelong and the others sent them off and then went to deal with some things. Chapter 16:12. In a special area, an extremely furious voice came. What's going on? Our spies have all been seen through and captured? Yes, they were all caught. Not a single one was spared. I tried to contact them and found that they're all under control. There's no way to get any information. Damn it, how did they see through us? They won't be discovered unless they're attacked. Now you're telling me that not a single one was spared? This is too great a loss. Yes, we can't even control them to commit suicide now. They're all imprisoned. I can sense that it's impossible to make them self-destruct or harm themselves. If they could do that, they wouldn't be so strong. We've spent so much time and effort to take root in Yuelong's God realm. Now they're all gone. How are we going to play? Why don't we send someone to sneak in and attack them now? There's no rush. Yuelong's God realm isn't so easy to deal with. Even if we want to deal with it, we have to deal with Heaven Cultivation God realm first. Heaven Cultivation God realm's current comprehensive strength is much weaker than Yuelong's God realm. They were ambushed once before and suffered some losses. Then we'll attack Heaven Cultivation God realm? Do you believe that I can throw you out of here? Yes, if you believe me, then shut up. We'll talk about these things later. The situation in Heaven Cultivation God realm this time is surprising, especially the famous heavenly venerables. We have to be prepared before attacking. We already know that there are 2 evil spirits pearls and 2 other evil spirits pearls. One is in Fecta God realm, where is the other one? In this special area, they were discussing this matter. Everything was waiting for an opportunity. They already knew who had the evil spirits pearls. It would be much easier if they knew. At the same time, Yi Tianyun followed the great Devis back to Heaven Cultivation God realm. Although Yuelong's God realm wasn't doing too well, they were still in a good mood. If they could ally with Yuelong's God realm, they would be more secure in future battles. If they were besieged, they would immediately contact Yuelong's celestial realm. At that time, they would work together from the inside and outside, trapping them immediately. Not a single one of them would be able to escape. Tianyun, I wonder if there are any disciples in our cultivation's celestial realm who are being controlled in this aspect? After returning from Yuelong's celestial realm, the great Devis immediately wanted Yi Tianyun to investigate. Master, don't be nervous. The Heavenly Cultivation God realm doesn't have such a situation for the time being. Yi Tianyun looked at the great Devis's nervous expression. He was really frightened by Yuelong's God realm. With so many disciples being controlled, just the thought of it was terrifying. Not only would the secret be leaked, but the key point was that they might be stabbed in the back. Just thinking about it was terrifying. That's true. There are no secrets in the divine realm of cultivation. Even the ancestors are from the evil spirit race. There's no need to do this at all. The great Devis shook his head self-deprecatingly. The cost of infecting the bloodline and then controlling it was too high. In particular, Heavenly God Sky Cloud was a traitor. Why would they need to do this? Empyrean God Torrential Cloud Surge was able to roam freely in any region without fear of being discovered, and he was even able to go wherever he pleased. Oh right, I almost forgot to ask. What kind of perfect suppression method are you talking about? The great Devis was still very worried about Yi Tianyun's situation. If the evil spirit's pearl remained in his possession, it would definitely affect him greatly. Actually, this is the method. Yi Tianyun reached out and dragged the evil spirit puppet out. There was the evil spirit's pearl on it, and a dense evil aura emanated from it, making sure Shuyun feel very uncomfortable. Tianyun stood in front of her and blocked the evil aura. This is the evil spirit puppet from before? The great Devis knew that Tianyun had an evil spirit puppet a long time ago, but he didn't expect it to be used like this. That's right, this is the evil spirit puppet. I've embedded the evil spirit's pearl on it, and it'll be able to suppress it. Because it can sever one's blood energy, there's no need to worry about it being extracted, and it can also achieve a sealing effect. Tianyun smiled. I won't be able to seal it myself. Come to think of it, I can seal another evil spirit's pearl without any problems. If possible, ask Patriarch Yudong to give me the evil spirit's pearl. It'll be safer that way. You should say that this way, Realm Lord Xiutian won't have to suffer like this. I'll talk to Patriarch Yudong about this. I've never been able to find a perfect sealing effect. If it's that effective, then I can give it to you. However, it looks like Patriarch Yudong won't give it to you. The great Devis spoke in a solemn voice. I'm just worried that if you're surrounded, you'll suffer too many losses, and you'll be in even more danger. With 2 evil spirits' pearls on him, if Tianyun were to be killed, he would lose 2 of them. Moreover, it would increase the danger to him, unless Tianyun really had heaven-defying power. I'll leave this to Master. If it doesn't work, then there's no other way. Tianyun still hoped that he could keep the evil spirit's pearl. Not to mention anything else, he was quite confident in his ability to escape. Unless it was an extremely heaven-defying existence, he could still escape. There was nothing else to do here for the time being, so Tianyun brought Shuiyun back. Venerable Feng Qiu temporarily stayed in Yuelong God domain. It had been a long time since she returned. This time, she would definitely stay there for a while. When they returned to the 3 Realms God domain, Tianyun smiled and said, I told you, you can definitely help, and there's no need to be nervous. This counts as helping, isn't it just saying a few more words? Although she said that, Shuiyun was still very happy. To be able to form an alliance with such a powerful force, her contribution was great. After all, it was all thanks to Shuiyun that they managed to persuade Yuelong God domain. A few more words is enough. Tianyun carried her, scaring Shuiyun so much that she screamed. She was really frightened. We'll be seen. Shuiyun blushed. You're really old and frivolous. What kind of situation is this, and you're still playing like this? Look as you please, provided that they can see. Tianyun laughed and carried her back to their residence. Things were done for the time being. Now, he needed a good rest and to improve the 3 Realms God domain. There were still many things that he had not read carefully. After obtaining the Divine Spirit Clan's Patriarch's treasure, there were still many things that he needed to improve. Chapter 1613. During this time, Tianyun stayed in the secret room, reading all kinds of martial arts and cultivation experiences. The key was to understand the secrets of the divine realm and the situation of the evil spirit race. There were very detailed records here, but there was also a lot of missing information. However, everything that needed to be recorded was basically recorded here. Overall, the records were very detailed. For example, the number of heretic gods' orbs was clearly recorded here. There was no need to guess who took them, as they were all recorded here. In the Cultivation Divine Realm, Yuelong Divine Realm, Fecta Divine Realm, and the Divine Spirit Race, there were a total of 4 evil spirits' pearls, sealed in the head, hands, feet, and body. It could be said that the evil spirits were divided into 4 parts and sealed in the evil spirits' pearls. These were all recorded by the Divine Spirit Race's elders. The Divine Spirit Race's patriarch died in the battle, so the rest of the records were naturally left to the descendants. As for the other Divine Spirit Race members, after the battle, they all went to the inner Divine Realm. As for the 3 realms, it was controlled by a few Divine Spirit Race elders alone. They didn't bring too many Divine Spirits with them. Although the elders of the God Spirit Race had come, they weren't in charge of the affairs of the 3 realms. They were in charge of strengthening the seals here. As time passed, they gradually died until only one divine spirit race elder was left. The Fecta Divine Realm really has evil spirits' pearls. After reading it, Tianyun quickly flipped through it to see if there was a way to get to the Fecta Divine Realm. The Fecta Divine Realm was very mysterious. No one knew where it was. If they could join forces with the Fecta Divine Realm, it would undoubtedly be safer. The 4 evil spirits' pearls would fall into the hands of different forces, and no one would know. This was to make it safer, and they didn't want other forces to know. Now that he knew, if he still foolishly fought alone, he would obviously be at a disadvantage. Therefore, it was best to join forces. That would be the strongest defense. After all, they were alone, and the situation wasn't ideal. It should be said that most of the information had been released by the Fecta Divine Realm. If one were to follow this information and search for it, they might not be able to find it even if they died. Tianyun immediately set off to search for the Fecta Divine Realm. At first, he couldn't contact the Fecta Divine Realm, but now that he was at a critical juncture, he had to contact the Fecta Divine Realm. From the looks of these attacks, it was very likely that the evil spirit race would launch a major attack to snatch the evil spirit's pearl. He didn't know how many years it had been, but it seemed like they had been accumulating their strength and were ready to attack in one go to snatch away the evil spirit's pearl. Yuelong's god domain was the best proof. They had spent a lot of time preparing for this. Not only did he want to snatch the evil spirit's orb, but he also wanted to control the evil spirit's orb. It's hard to say. The Fecta Divine Realm might have fallen into their hands as well. Tianyun knew that the Fecta Divine Realm was a very mysterious place, but he didn't know if they could really defend it. Everything was possible. It was better to investigate and find out. Tianyun left for the Myriad World God domain after he had settled the matter. The key to the Fecta Divine Realm wasn't in some special area, or in some special ruins, or in some random rock. It was in the Myriad Realm's Divine Realm. No one had expected the Fecta Divine Realm to be in the Myriad Realm's Divine Realm. In such a chaotic Myriad Realm's Divine Realm, it was hard to hide anything. However, the Fecta Divine Realm was hidden there. The more dangerous the place, the safer it was. After Tianyun arrived at the Myriad Realm's Divine Realm, he went straight to the world that led to the Fecta Divine Realm. There was no defense here, so he could enter at will. After entering, he saw a huge temple. Many cultivators came and went. This was called the Temple of Heavenly Luck. There was a huge statue inside, which was the Heavenly Luck God. Legend had it that as long as one worshipped the Heavenly Luck God, their luck would improve. Therefore, many cultivators often came to worship the Heavenly Luck God. Especially when they were preparing for a breakthrough or heading to a dangerous place, they would come to worship the Heavenly Luck God. There were cultivators from all the major forces, but most of them were lone cultivators. Of course, there were also many cultivators who were extremely disdainful of this. Compared to believing in other people's luck, it was better to believe in their own fists. In theory, worshipping the Heavenly Luck God would not increase one's luck. After all, it was only the Heavenly Luck God, not the heavens. The Heavenly Luck God's ability was not that powerful. At the end of the day, it was just the Heavenly Luck God. The Fecta Divine Realm is really interesting. I didn't expect the entrance to be built here. Who would have thought that this was the entrance to the Fecta Divine Realm? No one would believe that the real entrance to the Fecta Divine Realm was in this temple. The Temple of Heavenly Luck God that had existed for a long time was the entrance to the Fecta Divine Realm. Of course, there was more than one entrance, but this was naturally the closest one. It was also the easiest one to get to. After all, it was not far from Tianyun, and he could easily get there by locking onto the coordinates here. After Tianyun entered, he was greeted by the sight of the majestic temple. Right in front of him was the huge Heavenly Luck God. The heavenly luck god was a woman. She looked extremely beautiful, and her fingers formed a lotus flower as she looked over with a smile on her face. No matter which angle they looked at it from, it was as if she was looking at them. This gave them the illusion that the heavenly god of luck was still alive, and she was constantly watching over them. All of the cultivators who came to pay their respects were tossing all types of spirit medicines, spirit flowers, pills, and even some treasures into the massive box. These were the tributes for the heavenly luck god. With so many cultivators coming and going, the total amount of tributes accumulated was definitely going to be astonishing. Chapter 16:14. If Tianyun had not seen it in the records, he would not have believed that this was one of the entrances to the Fekta divine realm. The Temple of Luck was a place that everyone in the divine realm knew about. To them, it was a very sacred place. Therefore, it would be very difficult to tamper with this place. It could be said that the most dangerous place was also the safest place. This place was dangerous enough. So many cultivators came and went, but they just could not find the entrance to the Fekta divine realm. It should be said that those who came here were here to worship Heavenly Goddess Luck, not to find the Fekta divine realm. Heavenly Goddess Luck. Tianyun looked at the statue. It was a female cultivator, which was not surprising. However, this statue was very lifelike. No wonder so many people were attracted to it. Just as he was about to investigate further, a group of Empyrean gods suddenly rushed in from outside the door. One of the Empyrean gods in the lead pointed at the statue and said, "Move her away from me. Be gentle with your movements. If you break this statue, I'll make you guys suffer." "Yes, my lord." At this time, a group of heavenly venerables rushed toward the statue of Heavenly Goddess Luck. When the cultivators nearby saw this, they hurriedly stopped them. "What are you doing? If you don't want to die, get out of my way. If anyone interferes, don't blame me for being merciless." The heavenly god who came roared angrily. His heavenly god power pressed down. Many cultivators who came to worship the statue felt their legs weaken, and they directly knelt on the ground. There were no heavenly gods who came to worship the statue. Everyone was a heavenly god, so why would they worship the statue? Therefore, most cultivators were below the heavenly god level. The highest level was only heavenly venerables, and most of them were around the divine lord level. There was no way to resist a heavenly god. If they resisted, only death would be waiting for them. These guys want to come and steal the statue of Heavenly Goddess Luck just because their cultivation is high. That's right. These guys will definitely be haunted by bad luck. Heavenly Goddess Luck, curse these rude people and let them be haunted by bad luck. They kept praying in their hearts, hoping that these rude people would be punished. This statue of the Heavenly Luck God is going to be mine soon. It's so beautiful. If I can't marry the Heavenly Luck God, at least the statue of the Heavenly Luck God will be mine. The Heavenly God's eyes were filled with fanaticism. It was clear that he was a fanatical admirer of the Heavenly Luck God. The Heavenly God of Luck really did have such a person, and he was still alive. As for where he was, he didn't know. However, one thing was clear, and that was that he had many pursuers. This is really funny. Tianyun couldn't help but laugh. He didn't think that such a situation would happen. There were people who came to snatch the statue. This was really funny. It looked like the Heavenly God of Luck really was extraordinarily charming. Otherwise, why would someone even want to steal a statue? He might not be able to woo a person, but moving a statue was not a problem. When these Empyreans went over and surrounded the statue, the surrounding cultivators didn't dare to say anything. They could only stare at them from the side. They wanted to risk their lives, but it was meaningless. In the face of a heavenly god, no matter how much they wanted to protect the Heavenly God of Luck, they would be slapped to death like ants. "Get ready to lift it!" Several Empyreans reached out and grabbed onto the statue, preparing to move it away. However, just as they made contact with the statue of the heavenly god of luck and were about to lift it up, their legs suddenly buckled, and they fell to the side. Their heads smashed viciously against each other, and many of them felt dizzy. What's going on? I actually tripped? That's strange, me too. How did this happen? They all got up, but they had only just gotten up when a brick suddenly came crashing down from above, landing heavily on their heads. With a loud bang, a pile of dust was sent flying into the air. They were all fine. They were Empyreans, so they wouldn't actually suffer any injuries from being hit by these bricks. However, they were in an extremely sorry state. They were wrapped in a pile of white dust, and it looked as if they had jumped into a pile of dust. The surrounding cultivators instantly roared with laughter. These rude people were indeed being punished. However, this wasn't the end. They began to yell loudly, asking who had sneak attacked them. One of them tilted his body and directly smashed into his companion, sending him flying. None of them suffered any serious injuries, but they appeared to be in an extremely sorry state. To put it bluntly, it was just some small scuffles that made them look extremely sorry. "What are you all doing?" The heavenly god at the side roared angrily. What kind of idiots had he found? They had become like this just by moving a statue. "Emilord, this is very strange. It looks like we're really plagued by bad luck." Those Empyreans didn't dare to touch the statue of the heavenly god of luck anymore. They had only just touched it, and they had already suffered so much. They weren't injured, but it was extremely embarrassing. So many people were watching from the side, how could they not feel embarrassed? "Damn it, let me do it!" The heavenly god flew into a rage. He raised his hand and sent those Empyreans flying to the side. He raised his foot and walked toward the heavenly god of luck. He reached out and grabbed the statue of the heavenly god of luck. Just as he was about to carry it away, suddenly, another brick came crashing down. It very cleverly smashed into his head, and he didn't even have the slightest reaction. With a loud bang, the heavenly god was smashed until his head was covered in dirt, and he looked extremely sorry. Most importantly, he hadn't sensed anything at all. He had been ambushed by a brick. However, the heavenly god didn't give up. He grabbed the statue of the heavenly god of luck and lifted it up. However, the statue didn't move at all. It remained firmly in place. What's going on? Why is it so stable? The heavenly god didn't believe it and continued to lift it up. However, for some reason, a weapon from one of his companions swung over and smashed into his body. "What are you doing?" The heavenly god turned around in rage. Fortunately, the weapon didn't stab him. It merely smashed into him. "Emilord, I'm sorry. I just wanted to check the weapon. I didn't think my hand would slip." The Empyrean felt so wronged that he wanted to die. He didn't even know why his hand had slipped. Scram! The heavenly god waved his hand angrily and sent the Empyrean flying. He then continued to move the statue. However, no matter what he did, he was unable to move it. Instead, he was plagued by all kinds of bad luck. If it wasn't bricks, it was all kinds of weapons that came crashing down on him. There were even some small insects that crawled up his body. On the side, Tianyun was very surprised. He could sense the energy fluctuations here. To be more accurate, it was the fluctuations of his luck stat. These Empyreans' luck stat really plummeted when they were being rude to the statue. Chapter 16:15. This should have something to do with the formation. Tianyun scanned the area. There were many formations set up in the heavenly deity temple, and there were definitely formations that could affect providence. Otherwise, it would be rather difficult to affect a person's providence. However, he believed that the heavenly goddess of luck's own luck must be extremely astonishing. Otherwise, she really wouldn't have the guts to call herself the heavenly goddess of luck. The main thing was that she was lucky enough to do everything with luck. It wasn't that such cultivators didn't exist, but they were extremely rare. These people were even more talented than geniuses. They could be said to be top-notch monsters. Providence accounted for most of a cultivator's potential. It could be said that the fortuitous encounter completely depended on providence. For example, if one entered a forest with amazing providence, they could casually take a few steps and find amazing spirit herbs. Then, they could casually take a few steps and find an inheritance left behind by a certain senior. Others probably wouldn't be able to find anything even if they dug 3 feet into the ground. This kind of providence could casually dig around and find all kinds of ancient divine artifacts. It was simply infuriating to compare oneself with others. This kind of heaven-defying luck often went too smoothly, and it was easy for them to encounter bottlenecks or not be able to withstand any setback. However, seeing that the heavenly goddess of luck could cultivate to the heavenly god level, she definitely wouldn't be too weak. Luck is really a good thing. Tianyun had experienced it himself, so how could he not know? He had a very high luck value. After activating the luck halo, there was no need to describe the effects. However, sometimes he didn't need it, so he was too lazy to activate it. After all, sometimes after activating it, he could indeed find some treasures, but the treasures didn't meet his needs, so he was too lazy to activate it. Just as he was thinking about how to go to the Fecta divine realm, another group of heavenly venerables and a heavenly god arrived. Take this heavenly goddess of luck statue away. If it's even slightly damaged, I'll make you suffer. A familiar feeling appeared in front of everyone again. This was most likely another competitor who was trying to steal the heavenly god of luck. When this heavenly god saw the other heavenly god, he was furious. "What did you do to my goddess?" After saying that, this heavenly god came over and beat him up. Another heavenly god was also furious. "What do you mean by your goddess? This is my goddess." After that, they started fighting crazily. The other Empyreans looked at each other in dismay. What was going on? These two heavenly gods fought crazily all the way from here to the outside of Luck Heavenly God Temple. They still knew their limits. He knew that no reckless actions were allowed here. If he were to use too much force and damage the statue of the heavenly luck god, then he would be in deep trouble. When they rushed out to determine the victor, the place immediately quieted down, restoring its previous tranquility. The Empyreans who came looked at each other. The master who hired them had gone to fight, so they were not in a hurry to move the statue for the time being. "You were hired to move the statue, right? I advise you not to do anything rash. Blaspheming the heavenly god of luck will bring you bad luck. We'll be taking our leave now." The last batch of Empyreans took advantage of the fact that the heavenly god that hired them was fighting outside to leave in a hurry, not daring to stay here any longer. If they continued to stay here, they didn't know what would happen. They didn't want to embarrass themselves. As a heavenly venerate, he really couldn't afford to lose face in front of so many cultivators. After warning them, they hurriedly left this place. The other Empyreans looked at each other, not knowing whether they should continue or not. While the heavenly gods outside were locked in a fierce battle, another batch of Empyreans rushed in from outside. There was also a heavenly god among them. "Hurry up and move the statue of the heavenly god of luck down. If you damage it even a little bit, you're dead." This time, it was a female heavenly god. Unexpectedly, she was also a worshipper of the heavenly god of luck and wanted to move the statue away. The result was no different. The Empyreans who moved the statue were immediately covered in dust. The Empyreans who were watching from the side were all dumbfounded. Would they really be plagued by bad luck? Not only were their own people fighting each other, but bricks would also fall from the sky. What the hell? They took advantage of the fact that the heavenly god that hired them were locked in a fierce battle to quickly run away. How would they dare to stay here any longer? Tianyun, who was watching from the side, couldn't help but laugh. The Fecta Divine Realm was indeed the Fecta Divine Realm. Even the formations they set up were so strange. However, he believed that the heavenly god of luck was also from the Fecta Divine Realm. It was just that no one would have guessed that the heavenly god of luck was from the Fekta divine realm. He then ignored them and made his way behind the statue of the heavenly god of luck. There were also many cultivators worshipping the statue there. The heavenly god of luck's back is still so beautiful. She's so beautiful. That's right, I hope the heavenly god of luck can bless me with good luck. If only I could marry the heavenly god of luck. Boolsh *T. Do you think the heavenly god of luck will take a fancy to someone like you with such a low cultivation base? The fact that they were discussing the statue behind its back showed just how popular the heavenly god of luck was. Tianyun shook his head and turned his gaze to the statue behind the heavenly god of luck. The real entrance was on the statue's back. To be more precise, he was looking for clues from the heavenly god of luck's back. Soon, Tianyun found a faint white dot. This white dot was actually very inconspicuous, and many cultivators would basically overlook it. After all, it was quite meaningless. Wasn't it normal for a statue to have a white dot on it? Tianyun looked toward the white dot, and his gaze just so happened to fall on a small square brick. This square brick was only one of the tens of thousands of square bricks here, and there was nothing special about it. However, this square brick was the key to leading to the real passageway. All of the other square bricks were completely useless. Tianyun looked around, and he quickly flew over while everyone was staring at the heavenly god of luck, before extending a hand to touch this square brick. His body then flashed, and he disappeared on the spot. He didn't need to break any spell formations or anything like that. All he had to do was gently touch it, and he would immediately enter the real passageway. This was actually similar to a teleportation spell formation in that anyone who touched it would be teleported away. No one noticed that someone was missing, and no one paid any attention to Tianyun. After all, it wasn't a big deal for a heavenly venerate to wander around here, so no one would pay any attention to him. After entering, Tianyun discovered that he had appeared in a very ordinary passageway with no bright spots around him. He didn't think too much about it, and he continued onward. Just as he was about to reach the exit, a beautiful figure appeared at the entrance of the passageway, blocking his way. "Who are you?" A very pleasant voice sounded from up ahead. Chapter 16:16. Tianyun didn't think that he would encounter the heavenly luck goddess here. This heavenly luck goddess was the guardian of the passageway and wouldn't allow anyone to pass through. Everyone was searching for the heavenly luck goddess, but who would have thought that she would be here? Heavenly luck goddess? Tianyun looked at her with a smile. A bunch of cultivators are arguing over your statue. Who would have thought that you would be hiding here? The heavenly luck goddess was quite powerful, having reached the intermediate heavenly god intermediate stage. She was also quite young, only around 1,000 years old. She was around the same age as heavenly venerate Fengqiu, but her cultivation base was far more powerful than heavenly venerate Fengqiu's. Her entire body exuded the aura of luck, as if one would be able to find many treasures just by strolling around with her. Many cultivators were envious of the state of being doted on by thousands of people. "I'm asking who you are." The heavenly luck goddess's brows furrowed as she flicked a finger, upon which the passageway around them was quickly sealed off, trapping Tianyun. This was an extremely important passageway, so she couldn't just let anyone pass through, especially not a cultivator with an unknown identity. She didn't know how he had found it, but it was quite miraculous that he had managed to find it by accident. There were so many bricks here, and they were all the most inconspicuous ones. Unless one was specifically looking for them, they would most likely be unable to find them no matter how they were thrown or smashed. However, Tianyun had come here, and he was only an intermediate heavenly venerate, which made her very confused. "I'm here to form an alliance with the Fekta sacred realm. I bear no ill will," Tianyun explained. "Fekta sacred realm?" The heavenly luck goddess' heart sank, but she maintained a calm expression. "There's no such place. This is my territory." Who else knows about this place aside from you? The heavenly luck goddess immediately refused to admit that this was the passageway to the Fecta's sacred realm. At the same time, a faint light began to appear on her palm, and killing intent began to surge from her eyes. There was no doubt that she was planning to silence him. The passageway to the Fecta's sacred realm could not be made known to anyone. This action naturally fell into Tianyun's eyes. If it were him, he wouldn't let this trespasser get away so easily. The mysteries of the Fecta divine realm and the situation of the evil spirits' pearl could not be allowed to spread. Don't be nervous. Only I know about this passageway. I knew about this place, that's why I came here. To be clear, I am also the guardian of the evil spirit's orb. I believe you should know about this thing, right? Tianyun said straightforwardly. With the heavenly luck god's cultivation base and status, it wouldn't be an issue for her to know about the evil spirit's pearl. It was better to directly state the purpose of his visit than to fight. Especially towards his own people, he had no intention of fighting. If they wanted to fight, they should just kill him, not spar. You're the guardian of the evil spirit's orb? The heavenly luck god's eyes narrowed as she sized up Tianyun, as if she wanted to see through him. Stop messing with me. You're only an intermediate heavenly venerate, and you're telling me you're a guardian? Tianyun shook his head and immediately released the aura of the evil spirit's orb. After sensing the evil spirit's orb, the heavenly luck god's expression shifted. Such a familiar feeling, it was definitely the heretic god's orb, and not something else. Only the aura of the evil spirit's orb could be so sinister. Heavenly luck god, is this the aura of the evil spirit's orb? Tianyun asked with a faint smile. This is indeed the aura of the evil spirit's orb. However, your cultivation base is so low, yet you're acting as a guardian. This is very dangerous. The heavenly luck god wore a solemn expression. As a guardian, she knew what it meant to be a guardian. That's another matter. I want to form an alliance with the Fecta's sacred realm. Do I have the right to do so as a guardian? Tianyun asked with a smile. I don't know if you have the right to do so, but you do have the right to enter. The killing intent in the heavenly luck god's eyes disappeared, and she gestured for him to follow her. Tianyun followed her, and after passing through the passageway, he was greeted by the sight of a series of teleportation formations. There were many teleportation formations here. As far as the eye could see, there were at least 1,000 teleportation arrays densely packed together. Tianyun was a little dumbstruck. There were so many teleportation formations just to fool an invader? Heavenly luck god, you don't even have to stand guard here. Just these teleportation formations alone are enough to give me a hard time. Tianyun shook his head with a wry smile. He could see the teleportation formations with his detection eyes, but he really didn't know which one was the real teleportation formation. The records didn't go into too much detail. It was only stated that one could enter the Fecta sacred realm through the heavenly luck temple. You have to be careful about everything. The heavenly luck god pulled out a piece of jade. Come on in. Only then can I take you in. All right. Tianyun immediately entered the jade without any hesitation. The heavenly luck god faltered upon hearing this. She didn't think that Tianyun would agree so readily. Normally, entering a jade formation was equivalent to being trapped. Even though one could break out of it, it wasn't that simple. Tianyun went in without hesitation, which made her change her opinion a bit. The heavenly luck god didn't say anything else before flying toward the real area. Tianyun had to have done his homework before he dared to enter. If it really was something that couldn't be broken, then he definitely wouldn't dare to enter. Furthermore, he knew the rules here, so he definitely couldn't let him know the real route. Even if he was the owner of the evil spirit's pearl, who could guarantee that he was a companion? He was only released after staying in the jade formation for a while. When he came out, he was immediately astonished by the scene before him. If Yuelong's divine realm was beautiful before, Then this place was filled with extreme fantasies. The houses around him weren't ordinary houses at all. Instead, they were all special houses that could be moved. Not only that, but there were also many mechanical airships flying through the air. There was a massive sun directly overhead. It wasn't actually a sun at all. Instead, it was a sun that was filled with all types of mechanical parts. The sun slowly rotated in the air, transmitting bursts of warm energy to all of the machinery here. There were many cultivators coming and going in front of him. All of them were dressed in different attires, and they were all carrying many mechanical tools on their backs. What a mystical world! Cultivation and machinery are combined? Tianyun was truly astonished upon seeing this. This was far too miraculous. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.